continuing into Sara's route. Here's where I am generally. I'm in some scene called Purification. It's the fourth scene that's Sara in particular. As a review, you had from 75 through 90, which is 16 scenes. So if Sara has a similar amount of scenes, then we have, well, 12 more to go, but we're not into all the way through this one yet, so 13 more to go. So quite a few. This may run on kind of long, and I don't care because I have a while. So if it runs on long, it runs on long. Let's actually do it. This one.
ちょうどいいや。少年、私に教えてくれない？
Now, there is some merit to trying both of these because you would want to like pass off all of the paths, but then my pacing would be incredibly slow if I did. So I would just pick the one that I would think would be the most probable, but would be to me the most probable as to being the answer that would make it most likely that would get the good ending, and then just roll with it for most of this. And if I don't get every path checked off by the end of the Let's Play, that's fine. You know, it's like play it yourself to see every single path. So I'm going to go with I suppose, although I don't think so might have something funny in it. You know what, maybe I'll do this one. I gotta see the joke. I don't think so.
なんで？
Oh, why not? Well, my arm is no good like this. My broken arm actually felt like it was on fire, probably because I had strained it trying to swim.
いいじゃない。どこが悪いか言ってくれるだけでいいんだから。
That's okay, you can just watch and tell me what I'm doing wrong. But I know you won't listen to anything I say.
そんなことないよ。ちゃんと素直に聞くってば。
Sure I will, I'll listen. Really?
ほんとのほんと。私の目を見てよ。
For sure, I promise. I bet your fingers are crossed.
ああ、言ったな。
Oh, there you go again. Sara splashed water at me. I'm just kidding.
もう怒った。絶対許さん。
Now you've made me mad. I can't believe you'd say that. So, you don't want me to teach you how to swim?
あ、ずるいぞ少年。
You're tricky.
お主も武士なら正々堂々と勝負せい。
I think you've got samurai in you, so you better fight fair. I'm not samurai and I'm not fighting about anything.
またへりくつこねる。
Oh, you're so difficult. Difficult?
いいの、もう決まりなの。少年は私に泳ぎを教えるの。
Forget it, that's it. You're teaching me to swim. Hey, it's not all up to you.
いいの。これは運命なの。必然なの。前世から決まってたことなの。
I didn't decide it. It's fate. Inevitable and decided by the stars.
はい、決まり。
It's settled. Hey, quit making up your mind for me.
ああ、もう男のくせにごちゃごちゃと。
You sure whine a lot for a guy.
決まったことに文句を言わない。
When something is decided, you accept it. So when exactly was this decided?
今よ今。たった今。私が決めたの。もう決まったの。だから少年は私に泳ぎを教えるの。
Exactly right now. I decided, so it's decided. Kid, you're gonna teach me how to swim. I didn't think there was any point to continuing the argument. Alright, fine, I'll teach you.
最初からそう言えばいいの。
It would have been easier if you just said that in the first place. You will now proceed to take Sara's advice.
ちょうどいいや。
And say it in the
少
first
年、
place.
私に教えてくれない？
Okay, I said we'll say it in the first place, I suppose. Huh? Well, I'm already soaked to the bone. I might as well teach you a
本
little.
当？やった！
You mean it? All
で
right.
も、少年、妙に優しくない？
Wow, you're being surprisingly nice, aren't you? No, I'm not.
ああ、わかった。
Oh, I know what it is. What?
少年、私の水着姿に惚れたな。ダメだよ、嘘っちゃ。
It's because I look so good in this swimsuit. Better keep your hands off. I don't know what you're talking about.
ああ、ムキになるところがますます怪しい。
I mean, the kid, from other dialogue with the kid, it just seems that he literally actually does not know what she's talking about. Oh, see, I can tell I'm right, because you're getting all worked up. Fine, I won't teach you anything then.
待って、行かないで。お願
Oh no, wait, please.
い。もうからかったりしないから。
I won't tease you anymore. Promise?
うん、絶対。
Yeah, I promise.
本当だってば。神様、仏様、ついでにご先祖様にも誓って。
I said I promise. I swear to God, to Buddha, and anyone else who listened. Well, alright.
本当？私の気持ち、分かってくれたのね。
Really? You know I love you, right? Anyway, I should be going.
嘘嘘、冗談だってば。少年、カムバック！
I'm kidding. Come back here. Sarah's flapped her arms about making even more spray. Oh, all right. I'll teach you. Okay?
はい、やった。あ
Yeah.
なたならそう言ってくれると私信じてたわ。
I was hoping you'd say that. I said stop that. Sarah, you gotta relax more. Just be natural like. Sarah? I had to strain my voice to be heard over Sarah's splashing. I had gotten out of the water. My right arm in a sling, there was only so many ways to teach swimming. I just watched what she was doing and hollered out advice. Well, I mean, this position's not bad, right? She's holding onto the ladder, and she's practicing kicking. And trying to push her hands into the ladder as hard as possible. Which is kind of how you would start learning how to swim. You hold on to the edge of the pool, and then you practice kicking. And basically, you need to focus on not using your knees, but scissoring with your glutes and abs. So that when your legs come together, that displaces water backwards. And you go forward. Your mind will sort of subtly... I don't know exactly how the physics works. Okay, I'm not going to think about it anymore. But you scissor at the hips, essentially, and ideally you have a relatively small oscillation. At least when we talk about crawls. There's other kinds of kicks, of course. But no matter what I said, she still looked clumsy. If you keep that up, you'll never learn to swim.
仕方ないでしょ。
What am I supposed to do? Pant, pant.
これでも精一杯言われた通りにしようとしてるんだか
I'm doing my best, just like you said. I see. You can't swim if you're so tense. You need to be smoother.
ら。こう？
Like this. It's a better sound. She only whirled the water into a bigger froth with more spray. Whoa, Sarah, slow down. I shouted instructions as I avoided the spray showering down around me. Are you doing that on purpose?
そんなわけないでしょ。
Why would I?
じゃあどうしろっていうの？
What you expect me to do? Your instructions aren't very useful, kid. You need instructions on technique. You gotta slow down and you gotta relax more. It's like Uchakoshi doesn't know how to swim. You gotta move more slowly, gentle,
柔
like...
らかくって言われたってどうすればいいのかわかんないんだからしょうがないでしょ。
How am I supposed to know what you mean, be gentle? What else can I do?
もう少年の教え方が悪いんだよ。
You're not good at teaching. That ticked me off. Oh, I know.
何よ。
What? Sorry, you need to learn to swim. You don't need to learn to swim, do you?
そんなわけないでしょ。
Of course I do. Really?
何？
What do you mean? Listen, Sarah. If you really want to learn to swim, then you ought to listen to what I say. Or have Tsugumi teach you instead, because she's better at this. If you can't listen to what I say, then I'll be going. Do you want me to teach you to swim?
うん。
Yes. So, is there anything you want to say to me?
うーん。
Sarah glared at me menacingly. If not, then I pretended I was about to leave.
あう。ごめん。
The kid's really manipulative. I'm sorry. What, did you say
だ
something?
からごめんってば。
I said I'm sorry.
もう、意地悪しないで教えてよ。
Now just teach me without being mean.
ね。おねがい。
Okay, saying pretty please in Japanese one syllable at a time. I don't know how turning the R's into W's came from the Japanese, but whatever. Don't talk like a baby.
何よ。ちょっとぐらいいいでしょ。
A little bit is fine, no?
それに私の水着姿、少しは魅力的だと思うんだけどな。
Besides, I think I look pretty good in a swimsuit.
こんな水着姿の美少女と一緒にいられるんだよ。幸せでしょ。
You should be happy just to be around me. Not even a little. I don't have that function. I'm the kid. Truthfully, though, Sarah was something in a swimsuit. But I couldn't tell her that. I didn't want her to get big-headed. Now, why should I be so happy about seeing you in a swimsuit?
ああ、ムカつく。
Oh, you're such a jerk. Sarah started kicking and showering me with water. Oh, stop that right
ほ
now.
ら、正直に言え。本当はドキドキしちゃってるんでしょ。
Then tell the truth. You like me in a swimsuit, right? Why would I? You in a swimsuit? That's a pun. But it probably was not a pun in Japanese because it was probably the actual Japanese pronoun you, which I presume they use you. I know in Korean they typically don't. I was blushing, completely giving away my feelings.
あ、ほら、赤くなってる。
Oh, look, you're getting red.
本当は嬉しいんでしょう。
See, you like seeing me. You're not listening to
い
me.
やー、男の子だね。
You're a guy. What's that supposed to mean?
まあ、こんな水着姿の美少女と一緒にいられたら、健康な男の子なら誰だって嬉しいもんね。
Well, any healthy guy in his right mind would like to be with a beautiful girl in a bathing suit. It's not like that.
またまた、本当はもっとよく見たいくせに。
You're saying that even though you want to sneak a better look. I said I don't. I've had enough, I'm leaving. I was embarrassed because she'd seen through me. I really meant to leave the room. I heard Sarah scream behind me. Sarah? I heard her look behind me. Sarah? Sarah? Well, you just got tricked. What's the matter? I wondered if her leg had cramped. I sprinted to the water's edge, and then... You got pranked. Splash. Water suddenly sprayed in my eyes, blinding me. The next thing I knew, I had slipped and was spinning in the air. Crash, splash. That was a made-up onomatopoeia. The following instant, I was in the water. Ah. It all happened so quickly that I swallowed a ton of water, and some went up my nose. Just a random aside for no reason. When I was in high school, I took this class. It was a biology class, where at the end of the course, I had to do this experiment where I had to put my face in a tub of water and breathe through a snorkel without wearing a mask. Now, I thought this was going to be easy going into it. Of course, I'd never gone snorkeling. Before, I hadn't used a snorkel, but I thought, whatever, I just breathe through the snorkel hose. It turned out to be one of the most surprisingly not easy things to do in my life. After a couple of minutes, I managed to figure out how to suck the air in the snorkel without sucking water in my nose. But it was surprisingly not easy at first. It's a lot easier when I figured out what the mask is for. Anyway. I don't know what that has nothing to do with this, besides water went up his nose. My nose stung. I just really fought to get to the surface. Phew, Sarah.
ふーん、なに少年。
What is it? Sarah, pretending that nothing had happened, and resumed her swim practice. Cough, sputter. Sarah, you're mean. I approached Sarah. What?
だってあんなにあっさり引っかかるんだもん。
You fall for everything so easily. Kinda literally in couple ways. Sarah,
修行が足らんでござるな少年殿。
it would seem you're still wet behind the ears, kid. Seeing Sarah laughing with such enthusiasm, I realized that getting any angrier was pointless. Actually, for some reason, I started to laugh. I'm not going to voice that. Fine. Sarah and I laughed for a while. Anyway, once my fit of laughter was done, I got out of the water.
少年。
Kid. Sarah called out to me shyly. So, should we start?
うん。
Yeah.
ではよろしくお願いするでござるよ師匠。
Okay, wise teacher, please fill me in with swimming knowledge. You know I'm pretty strict. You think you can handle it?
はいでござる師匠。
Yes, sir. Okay, then let's get started. Okay. Listen, I think with you, Sarah, your body gets tight because you think you can't swim. So you have to relax more.
でも言われた通りにやろうとしてるんだけど。
I'm trying to do it just the way you say. Yeah, but you're so stiff. Like a scarecrow, or you're made of wood or something. You need to let your legs flow freely, like a fish, maybe. No, that's not correct. No, this is not well researched at all.
魚。よし、お魚になった私。
Unless you're teaching dolphin kicking as if to teach the butterfly stroke, then maybe it applies to some degree. A fish, all right then. I'm a fish now. Okay, sorry, you need to get pumped.
だってイメージがつかめないよ。
I just can't picture what you mean. Also, that is not directly contrary to being relaxed, but somewhat. Well, if you can't imagine a fish, then how about a dolphin or whale? Anyway, you have to relax and move freely. Now you're still you're still too stiff. Relax more. Just let your feet go. Somehow teaching her to swim had become fun. It was fun to see Sarah, who was always in control of things, in the opposite position. Sarah? I waited for Sarah to emerge from the changing room. I played with her pendant. Looking at it without the flame or the lighter, it was just a mirror. I ran my finger around the edge of the pendant. I thought about what Sarah had said in the compression chamber.
私、両親がいないの。
Both of my parents are gone. Sarah looked so sad as she said it.
お待たせ。
Sorry I took so long.
どうしたの暗い顔して。
What's wrong? Why the glum face? As my sprite shows my glum face. Oh, it's nothing. But I brought this.
それ持ってきてくれたんだ。
Oh, you brought it for me.
なのにごめんね。最後まで付き合わせちゃって。
Sorry you had to stick around teaching me until the end. You're the one that made me stay. I mumbled this.
なんか言った少年。
Huh? What did you say? Oh, nothing.
でも、本当にありがとう。
Well, anyway, thanks a lot.
最後まで付き合ってくれて。
And thanks for hanging out until the end. What? I was taken aback. I was waiting for some witty comeback. But Sarah was sincerely saying thanks. Wow, you're being surprisingly nice to me.
本当に感謝してるもん。
Yeah, well, I'm really grateful.
だってさ、最後にはなんとか自力で泳げるようになったでしょ。
because I finally learned to swim by myself.
そりゃまだちょびっとだけど、
Only a little bit, but
でもなんだか嬉しかったよ。あんなに真剣になってくれて。
it was fun. I was happy you were so serious about it. Sarah? I got a little bit embarrassed. Somehow watching Sarah struggle with something when she was used to always having her way, well, it was kind of fun. I had taught her how to swim correctly, but I did have an urge to be a bit of a bully about it. Still, I never thought that she would come out and say thank you.
本当にありがとね、少年。
I really mean it. Thanks, kid. Yeah, but don't let it go to your head, because you can't really call what you were doing swimming. I was embarrassed and reflexively went into mean mode.
うん、わかってるよ。機会があったらまた教えてね、少年。
I know. If we have another chance, I hope you'll teach me again. Sure.
今度こそちゃんと泳げるようになるんだから。
Next time I'll really learn to swim. Yeah, you just need a little more practice.
よろしくお願いするでござるよ。にんに。
Teach me again. Sure.
なんだか疲れちゃったね。
Somehow I'm tired out. As she spoke, Sarah took the pennant and put it on. Then she took it in her hand and stared at it.
きっとお兄ちゃんがいたらこんな風だったんだろうな。
I'll bet if my brother was around, it would be kinda like this. Sarah mumbled it, sounding lonely. Your brother?
うん。私ね、
Yes,
お兄ちゃんがいたんだ。
I had an older brother.
すごくかっこよくて、強くて、大好きだった。
He was fun, strong, and I adored him.
すごく小さい頃に離れ離れになっちゃったけど。
When I was little, we got separated. I see.
でも約束したんだ。
But he promised me. Promised you?
うん。約束。
Yeah, he promised.
必ず迎えに来るって。
He promised that he would come get me no matter what. Is that right? So is he gonna show up at the end like Yu's parents showed up at the end in Yu's route?
うん。
Yep.
だから待ってるの。
So I'm waiting for him.
待ってるんだ。助けに来てくれるの。ずっ
Waiting
と
for him to come save me. Always. Sarah's words brought back a vision I had seen.
約束だよ。迎えに来るまで。いい子にして待ってるから。いい子にして待ってるから。ずっと待ってるから。
I desperately tried to shake off the vision. Next morning, I overslept. I thought I might be in trouble with everyone, but it seemed like I wasn't the only one. The late start pushed our breakfast time back later than always. I wanted a change of pace, to do something fun, so we spread out a blanket in the park's rest area. The blanket was from a shop on the same floor. It had Lemu's Yoon label printed on it. Sora couldn't eat, but she sat with us, smiling just the same. As if drawn by the scent, Tsugumi appeared. As if she didn't notice or didn't care, Tsugumi parked herself on Mew Mew's face. She started munching a sandwich. Of course, Takeshi started complaining, but Tsugumi just ignored him. Sora and Tsugumi didn't look at each other. It seemed like they were ignoring each other. Apparently, they still weren't getting along. But everyone tried to make the best of it, eating, chatting, and having fun.
せーの、チッケッピ。
Oh, rock, paper,
あっち
scissors.
向いてはい。
Ready, go. I lost again.
少年ってば弱っちいんだ。これでもう16連敗だよ。
Won't let me skip, but I've seen this before. Kid, you're terrible at this. What is that, 16 losses in a row? Weird.
順調すぎるんだよ。あっち向けって言われてホイホイ向いちゃってるでしょ。
You're too nice. You just have to throw out what you feel, rock, paper, or scissors.
騙されやすい性格でござるな。
He's the gullible type. I am not. I'm trying to win.
あっち向いてはい。
Ready, go. Dang it. That's the 17th loss. I just kept losing.
君は記憶喪失中だから ただでさえ物事の判断材料が人並み以下なんだよ。
Could be that with your amnesia, your ability to make decisions isn't so good right now.
あまり目の前の事実にとらわれすぎないこと。
Don't get too caught up in the trivial things that you can't control.
もっと自分をしっかり持たないと、知らず知らずのうちに間違った方向に進んじゃうからね。
You need to be strong, make up your own mind, you'll just end up following everybody else. I know, this is a lot of takeaway from rock, paper, scissors.
まあそれはそれとして、
That being as it is,
敗者へのペナルティだね。
time for the loser's penalty.
はい、サンド出して。
Hand over your sandwich. Silently, I held out my
う
sandwich.
にうに
Alrighty. She squeezed a ton of mustard on my sandwich. The penalty was mustard, and my sandwich was already drenched in the stuff. My mouth felt like it was on fire before I even took a bite. Maybe thanks to the silly exchange, I was able to get through the whole thing without thinking about it too much. Suddenly, someone cut across my field of vision. It was Tsugumi. Tsugumi was walking toward Takeshi. She extended her hand.
あ？なんだその手は。
Huh? What's with the hand?
まさか、お手か。
You're like a dog. Shake, girl.
バカにすんな。
You'll probably say, don't make fun of me.
本当にバカね。
Really dumb, you know that?
おかわりということではないでしょうか。
You're trying to say that she wants another helping? Tsugumi nodded Sora's extra explanation. She had already wolfed down her first
ほ
one.
ほう、いい度胸だな。こんな時しか顔を見せねえくせして、おかわりまでねだるとは。
You've got a lot of nerve. You only show your face at mealtime and now you're demanding seconds.
まあ、よかろうて。
Well, I suppose.
ないの？あるの？どっち？
So, do you have more or what?
あるさ。こんなこともあろうかと、つぐみ用にチューニングしたスペシャルタツタがな。
I do. I thought you might want more, so I made a special one for you. Special? I had a bad feeling about the whole thing.
ほれ食え。残さず食えよ。
Eat this and no leftovers. Tsugumi took the sandwich without saying anything. Takeshi stared at Tsugumi as she took the wrap off the sandwich.
何よ。
What?
いやあんまり美人だとついつい包装紙を取り去る姿にさえ見とれてしまうななんて。
Nothing. It's just that you're so beautiful. I can't take my eyes off you, even when you're just removing a sandwich wrapper.
手のつけようのないバカね。
Your stupidity is terminal.
まああと50回くらい死ねば治るかもしれないけど。
Maybe if you died 50 times, it would help. This makes a little more sense in the other when you know from the other routes that she can die over and over again, quote unquote die. I thought Takeshi would get angry, but he was just grinning as he watched Tsugumi start in on her sandwich. Something was definitely not right here. I sucked in my breath and watched. Tsugumi bit into the sandwich. Munch. Chomp. Chew. Hmm? Hee hee.
引っかかった引っかかった。
Takeshi, doesn't do jokes well and telegraphs. It's way more entertaining when you don't say anything. You just kind of sit there and be like, anything wrong with the sandwich, Tsugumi? Did I mess up somehow?
ものすげえ味だろそのサンド。
I hate this character more when I don't play as him. It's got quite a flavor, huh, that sandwich? Takeshi laughed so hard he
な
cried.
んせマスタードにタバスコに七味に胡椒にセージにナツメグにシナモンにミントにカレー粉を混ぜ合わせ。
Listen in life, if you do something like this, be calm. It's way better. Anyway, it's packed with mustard, Tabasco, pepper, sage, nutmeg, cinnamon, mint, and a dose of curry
それから
powder.
さらにマヨネーズにケチャップに砂糖に塩に醤油にとんかつソースにビネガーにバニラエッセンスに。
For good measure, I added a dose of mayonnaise, ketchup, which is not translated, sugar, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, and vanilla. And
あとなんだったっけ、忘れた。
And what else? Oh, I forgot.
とにかく俺が見つけたありとあらゆる調味料とスパイス計34種をミックスした特製ソースで味付けしてあるんだからな。
Anyway, I threw in every ingredient and spice that I could find. It's my secret 34 ingredient sauce. Wait, KFC's was 11 herbs and spices, right? Oh, well, I guess that might come up in the next game. If you don't know, the title of the third game in the series is Remember 11.
ちょっとそれはいくらなんでもひどすぎるでし
Hey, that's just too cruel.
ょ。そうだよ。
No, it's bound to taste good because it's an integer multiple of the arc number. That's going too far, Takeshi.
うるさい。食い物の恨みはマリアナ海溝よりも深いのだ。
Shut up, I'm the cook here.
コメツさん、すぐに吐き出してください。
Tsugumi, I highly recommend inducing vomit immediately. These characters... I hate this scene. The only person who's, like, likable in this scene is Tsugumi.
今すぐお水を。いえ、まずはお薬を。
Get water quickly. No, we'll need medicine first.
大丈夫だって。ちょっと腹壊すだけで死ぬわけじゃねえよ。
She'll be fine. She'll get the runs, but she won't die. That's not something you should do to a girl. I went to grab Takeshi with my left
待
hand.
って。平気だから。
Wait, I'm fine. Tsugumi mumbled is stopping us.
おっなんちゅうタフさだ。
Huh? Well, aren't you tough?
全然平気。
I'm perfectly fine.
とか言いつつも本当は死ぬほどまずいんだべ。いいんだぞ正直に言っても。
But it still tastes terrible, right? Right? Tell the truth.
本当に平気よ。だって
I'm totally fine.
ピザの味するだけだから。
It tastes kind of like pizza. You should have made it only 33, Takeshi. You goofed. What?
今なんておっしゃいました？何の味と？
What did you just say? What's it taste like?
ピザ。
Pizza.
本当に本当に？
Are you serious? Tsugumi nodded.
ちょっとそれ貸せ！なわけねえだろ！
Hey, let me see that. That can't be. Takeshi went to grab the sandwich, but Tsugumi was too quick for him. Not only that, Takeshi caught his foot and fell to the floor. In that instant, Tsugumi polished off the sandwich.
ごちそうさま。
Thanks for the sandwich.
確かにスペシャルタツタだったわね。
You made it specially for me, right? So the event ended with Tsugumi turning the tables on Takeshi. I ended up cleaning up afterwards. I separated the cans and sandwich wrappers and put them in garbage bags. You and Sara helped. Takeshi said that he was going to start getting ready for lunch and head to the kiosk. Sora said she had to do some maintenance on Limit and left for the control room. Tsugumi disappeared to somewhere unknown. But something happened when I picked up garbage. Huh?
どうかしたの？
Huh? What's the matter? Nothing. Did somebody just call out?
はい？
What?
誰も呼んでないよ。
Nobody said anything? Really? Must be my imagination.
とかなんとか言っちゃって。本当はサボりたいだけなんでしょう。
I'll bet you're just trying to find a way to get out of helping. I'm not. That's not that. It's not that at all.
また例の幻聴？
You hearing your mystery voices again? Well, I...
お願いだからしっかりしてよね。
Please don't do that again. Get a hold of yourself already.
疲れてんのはわかるんだけどさ。
I know you're tired, but... We started picking up garbage again. We finally finished with the trash, folded the blanket, and we're done cleaning up.
さて、あとは軽く掃き掃除しておこうか。
I will just sweep the area.
マヨ、お願いがあるんだけど、ほうきとちりとり持ってきてくれる？売店のとこにあるはずだから。
Mayo, can you do me a favor and get me a broom and dustpan? I think they are at the kiosk.
ラジャーでござる。
Roger that. Sara set out for the kiosk. I was just thinking, this must be a nightmare for the people that clean this place.
人にやらせたら大変だろうね。
It would be if people had to do it.
でも普段はレミが制御する清掃ロボが全自動で館内を掃除してたから。
But Leah usually uses a cleaning robot that automatically cleans the whole complex. Wow.
まあこの事故のおかげでそのロボットも今頃は海水の中で錆び鉄になってるでしょうけど。
Well, what with the accident and all, I imagine the robot is a rusted pile of junk metal at the bottom of the ocean right now. I'll bet.
うんしゃよいしょ。
What? I was hearing voices again.
考えてみればもうこのレミューそのものが巨大なスクラップみたいなもんよね。
Thinking about it, I guess that Lemu is just one massive pile of scrap
こ
metal.
の後ここをどう始末するのやら。
I suppose it's just a matter of... It's just of matter of how it's destroyed.
って何？どうしたの？
What's the matter?
もしかしてまた？
You're not again.
もう君はいいから救護室にでも行って寝てなさい。
Alright, you've done enough. Just go to the infirmary or somewhere and
ほら
rest.
重症だわ。
You've got a serious condition of something. I was sure I'd heard something. This time I was sure it wasn't my imagination.
掘ってるの。刻んでるの。
See, I really can hear something.
この石像に傷を刻み込んでるの。
Stone statue. I looked around the 4 stone statues at the edge of the open area. And there, at the top of the stone pedestal, was a girl. Okay, it doesn't let you skip this because it's in a plot branch. Wait a second. Does this... No. Okay. I'm gonna keep that off just in case, but that did not fix... That did not allow me to skip. Oh, it's that girl. It was the girl that I had seen and who had then vanished on the first day. Look, you, right there. Huh? Look, over on that statue.
石像がどうかしたの？
What about the statue? Look, that's their stone statue. There's a girl there, see?
誰もいないよ。
I don't see anybody. Not there, over there. Oh, forget it. I'll go call to her.
少年！
Kid. I sprinted towards the stone statue. What could the girl be doing up
それ
there?
は
Well, it's because
寂しかったから。
I was feeling lonesome. Lonesome?
それにあのね、
And anyways, I was
悔しいの。
feeling sad. Sad? What was she talking about?
よーし、次は
And next. Oh no. Just then the girl lost her balance, falling from her awkward place on the pedestal. Look out! I ran towards her. The water caught on my feet and sprayed everywhere as I ran all out to where she was. Will I make it? I closed my eyes and mustered all my power and sprinted. I threw out my free left hand to where the girl would be falling to catch her. I didn't feel anything. I thought maybe I hadn't reached her in time. Scared, I opened my eyes. What? There was no one in my arms. Or even around me. Only the water sloshing about gently around
ちょ
me.
っと大丈夫？かなり派手に転んだみたいだけど。
Well, are you alright? It looks like you took a pretty nasty spill. I looked above me. Of course, there was no one in the hospital on the pedestal supporting the statue. Without saying anything, I got up and went behind the statue. There were scratches in the statue. There were deep notches that looked like they had been carved there by something hard and sharp. They were the shape of people. Really simple looking like stick people. At the end of each stick was a little round face. There were 6 in all. Looking closer, I saw that next to the people figures were two carvings of animals that I'd never seen. I looked up at the statue. The statue was pointed diagonal and up towards the east.
あれ、何やってるんですか、二人とも。
Hey, what are you two doing?
それがね。
That's a good question. I ignored them and gently touched the carvings on the statue. Without thinking, I blurted out, "Watch your step, okay?" That answer could have been my imagination that time. Time passed. We all split up, roamed around, freely doing what we wanted to do. Some wandered the complex, some tried to open up communication with the outside, some tried to think of ways to escape. But no one gave up, and everyone was working on ways to get out of our difficult situation. But it all was in vain. We had made no breakthroughs. The evening of the 5th rolled around. I wandered aimlessly around Lamu by myself. Honestly, I had not been able to forget what Sarah had said to me the day before, or more accurately that morning. I couldn't seem to clear my mind. At breakfast, Sarah was her same old self. I thought that a little walk might make for a change of mood. The next thing I knew, I was heading for the Cosmic Whale. I took the EI elevator. I rode down to the 3rd floor that was flooded with water. There was no guarantee that Sarah would be there. I turned my head, inspecting the area. It was just then that I saw her again. Hey, I saw her small figure cutting across the corridor. I was sure of it. It was that girl! I chased after her. Her skirt shook back and forth as she walked further and further away. It was almost as if she were trying to get away from me. Hey, wait a minute. She might not have heard me. She didn't show any sign of stopping. I wondered what it was all about. This girl that kept appearing out of nowhere and then disappearing. This girl that didn't register on Lemu's bioscan. No, she had registered once. Life readings 7. But the more I thought about it, the stranger everything seemed. She only appeared in front of me and we hardly communicated. Whatever, I knew thinking about it wouldn't help. It was something that I would solve by asking her directly. We headed into the Cosmic Whale room. I followed in soon after her. I didn't see her anywhere. Instead, I saw Sarah sitting on the same place we had sat earlier on the whale. Sarah was singing softly.
長湯店を石夢の中より迷い柳井つくよ早く今夏と街を眠りたもぬ眠りたも母に
Again, that autoplay is not working correctly, but anyway. Her voice echoed quietly as if it were seeping into the night sky. Somehow it sounded faintly sad and lonely. I couldn't make myself call out to Sarah. My eyes were open to the jarring sound of metal screaming under strain. I didn't know if it was because of my broken arm or the swimming with Sarah, but I felt sluggish and feverish, so I took some medicine and went to bed. Vibrations shook through Lamu. I wonder if something happened. I'm assuming this is when the Cosmic Whale room flooded. By the time I had gotten out of the infirmary, the shaking had stopped. I thought that if I went to the security office, I might learn what happened. Tsugumi, what happened?
さあ、私も今ここに来たところだから。
I don't know, I just got here myself. Tsugumi said it coolly. Then Sora appeared in the room.
小町さん、少年さん、ここでしたか。
So you two are here. Sora, did something happen?
ええ、 コスミシアバルで浸水がありました。
Yes, water breached the cosmic whale room.
浸水？
Water breached it?
はい。あの部屋の隔壁が水圧で破れて水が入ってきてしまったようです。
Yes, the room's wall collapsed under the water pressure and started flooding. Are we alright?
コスミシアバルに通じる扉を閉じましたので、他の部屋への影響はありません。
Doors to the cosmic whale room have been sealed, so there will be no effect on other areas. What about everyone else?
田中さんと倉成さんは制御室においでです。
You and Takeshi are in the control room. You and Takeshi, what about Sara?
松永さんは最後に確認されたのはコスミシアバル近くの通路です。
Sara, her last confirmed location is in a corridor near the cosmic whale. Right, and when we do the U side, we grab her and drag her out by accident, or mistaking her for Coco. We didn't do that here. Corridor?
実はあの部屋のセンサーには不具合があって確認が取れていないんです。
Yes, I noticed the Tsugumi sprite change. Sensors in that area are not functioning at full capacity, so I have not been able to verify this.
今では完全に接触は断たれています。
Presently, it is completely cut off. What about Sara?
今のところレミューのその他の区画では確認されていません。
I am unable to confirm her location anywhere else in Lamu. No way, then she was in that room. I couldn't stand staying in that room and ran outside. Tsugumi followed on my heels. Tsugumi and I went down to the area housing the cosmic whale room. Sora, could you open the doors to the room?
それは無理です。
That is impossible. But
申し訳ありません。今扉を開けたらこの区画は完全に浸水してしまいます。
I am sorry if I open these doors down, this sector will flood as well.
発電室が浸水したら電力が完全にダウンしてしまいます。それはできません。
If the generator room floods, then we will be powerless. I cannot do that. What about Sara? Sara!
落ち着いて。
Calm down. Tsugumi?
ソラ、この辺りの避難通路はまだ生きてるんでしょ？そこからあの部屋まで行けない？
Sora, are the emergency corridors around here still functioning? Is there anything to get to the room through them?
調べてみます。はい、コスミシアバルのすぐ上の通路はまだ生きています。
I will check. Yes, there is a corridor directly above the cosmic whale.
ですが、そこからコスミシアバルまで行くことはできません。完全に水没しています。
However, it is not possible to enter cosmic whale from there. The area is completely flooded.
潜っていけばいけないことはないでしょ？
But we could enter it by diving, right?
ですが、
Yes, but I'll go. We've got to save Sara.
その腕でどうしようっていうの？
With that broken arm, what are you gonna do? But
あなたも溺れて助けに行かなきゃならなくなるのがオチよ。
you'll start drowning, and in the end, I'll have to save you too.
私が行くわ。
I'll go. But Tsugumi,
怪我人は黙って引っ込んでて。
you're injured, so keep quiet.
ソラ、そこに行くのに一番近い通路の入り口は？
Right, his arm just heals super fast. You go, up, the kid got the Curé. Sora, where is the nearest entrance to a corridor that'll get me there?
ここを出て右に行った先の接続部に階段があります。
Use the connecting staircase out of here and to the left. Tsugumi started running before Sora was done speaking. I presume they meant Sora. I chased after Tsugumi. Tsugumi,
仕
why?
方ないでしょ。
There is no other choice.
仲間なんだから。
We're in this together. Tsugumi. Tsugumi sprinted the emergency stairs and climbed to the emergency corridor. I followed right behind her. When I got to the corridor, Tsugumi was running for the cosmic whale room. I hurriedly ran after her. Tsugumi had turned the corner, had already opened the hatch to the whale room, and was peering in. Tsugumi, wait. Tsugumi glanced at me.
ここで待っていて。
Wait here. Oh, this is why Sara had to learn how to swim, isn't it? Saying that, Tsugumi leaped through the hatch. Tsugumi, Sora, is Tsugumi
わ
okay?
かりません。今は小町さんを信じて待つしかありません。
I don't know. We can only trust and wait for her. Only Sora's voice echoed around me. She was speaking through a different set of emergency speakers, and her voice crackled and mixed with static.
田中さんと倉成さんは救護室で待機すると言っています。
You and Takeshi said that they will wait for you in the infirmary. Okay. I looked in the emergency hatch again. Inside the hatch was brimming with cold water. Frustrated and feeling powerless because I could only wait, I tried to be patient. Tsugumi, please, find Sara. Sara. Yeah, the whole swimming thing's gonna... This is how it pays off, I presume. Time passed. It might not have really been that long. But at that time, it felt like an eternity to me. Tsugumi came bursting out of the water. On her back, she was carrying Sara. Sara!
とにかく水からあげましょう。
Let's get her out of the water. Okay. I forgot the pain in my arm and yanked Sara up. Sara was like ice, cold and hard. In her firmly clenched fist was the pendant. Tsugumi put her hand on the back of her neck.
脈がないわ。
There's no pulse. Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions. Actually, and then you go to the intercom and you get the defibrillator. No, Sara. I don't know if Curé blood helps you because I don't know how fast acting it is. It can't be. Sara, Sara, wake up, Sara. I shook Sara's cold body. Tsugumi tried to calm me down and spoke.
とにかく救護室へ運びましょう。
Anyway, let's get her to the infirmary. We carried her to the infirmary and lay her on the examination table. Tsugumi immediately started giving her a heart massage. Takeshi and Yu are fiddling with the machines around the examination table trying to learn more about Sara's status. Takeshi got the defibrillator. A beep signaled that they were charged, and Takeshi placed the 2 pads on Sara's chest. Whap. Sara's body jumped. Tsugumi put her hand on Sara's neck and shook her head. She went right back to massaging her heart.
そうもう一度だ。
Damn, one more time. The beep echoed again. And then the electric pulse. Again. Sara's face was drained of color and her lips were blue. Her body was stiff and unresponsive. All I could do was watch the 3 of them busily work to save her. There was nothing in the drawers of memory accessible to me telling me how to act in the situation. Images of time I had spent with Sara until now flashed through my mind, and the voices in the room barely reached me. Finally, Tsugumi relaxed her hands. With a look of grief, she moved away from Sara. Takeshi also put the defibrillator back on the table.
そんな
No.
くそなんてことだ。
Why? What happened? Hey, why are you all stopping? Hey, why do you all have those looks on your faces?
少年
Kid, it can't be. Sara? Sara! Sara, wake up, Sara. I started trying to copy Tsugumi's heart massage. The 3 of them watched with sad looks on their faces. Why do you all want to give up? Sara isn't going to die. She can't die here. I continued to pump her chest frantically. Well, how usually the medical community defines death? She's already dead. Sara. Again, he goes to the entire sprite gallery. Sara, open your eyes. Open your eyes.
少年
Just the first 3, okay? Just the ones you're guaranteed to get, it appears. I put my hand on her shoulder, but I shook her hand off and continued pushing on Sara's chest. Don't die. Open your eyes. Sara.
なぜ今さら気にする？お前は一人で逃げたじゃないか。
I heard a voice. No, I didn't run away. I wanted to help you. I put more power into the hand as I was using to push on her chest. Her ribs bent under the strain. Actually, they're kind of supposed to break. Although she might be young enough that it works if you don't break them. Still, I kept pumping. Oftentimes, if you do chest compressions correctly, the ribs will break. I told you, Sara. Sarah, I told you I would come to help you. I told you I'd come to help you, didn't I? I prayed for Sarah's heart to start beating. Sarah, you said you'd wait like a good girl. You said you'd wait, didn't you? I pushed a little harder. Cough. A little water came out of Sarah's mouth. Okay. And then you would think about this, if you were... So, as the brain is deprived of oxygen, it slowly or quickly, depending on what scales you're thinking about, the cells in it will die, right? So, if it takes a really long time to start the heart back up again, then you end up with the case of brain dead, I would presume, or like permanent damage. Anyway, she started breathing faintly and more water came out of her mouth. Okay. Miraculous survival by anime. I shook Sarah desperately. Sarah's eyes opened slightly. Oh, Sarah. That instant, the tension in the atmosphere of the infirmary eased.
私
Oh, thank goodness, Sarah. So she can't swim. I heard a song coming from somewhere. It was soft but somehow lonely voice singing.
長湯店を石
Ah, it's still not working right.
夢の中より街よい柳つくよみ林早く今かと街降りぬ眠りたもぬく止まる見て眠りたも母に抱かれて真赤いかかげし水のせい夢の中より街降りぬ今宵鳥船渦巻き鬼早く今かと街降りぬ眠りたもゆるゆるゆられ眠りたも海に抱かれて
Eventually started to work for some reason. I awoke with a nostalgic feeling. I found myself on a narrow bed in the infirmary. I might have repeated a line there because I took a break to do a set of bench, and I don't remember which lines I've said and which ones I haven't. Looking up at the white ceiling, I gently nodded off. My memories slowly came back to me, flooding in the cosmic whale and saving Sarah. Sarah coming back to life. My fever worsening and then my collapsing. I looked over to the bed next to mine. Sarah. Sarah was asleep on the bed next to me. Her breathing was regular and her cheeks flushed a healthy pink. Feeling a bit relieved, I let myself half doze. From far away I could hear faint voices. They seemed to come from an incredible distance and were all jumbled together. They sounded like Tsugumi and Takeshi. Their voices echoed slightly. The words were too faint for me to make out, but what they were saying. They were talking about Hamel or Harmeln or something, words that I thought I had heard before, but the sounds quickly changed in my mind to meaningless garble. Or is he saying Himmel? Talking about Himmel? After a while, the voices stopped. I guess they're talking about IBF. Out of habit, I touched my pinky to the thumb on my left hand. It felt a bit strange. I lifted my left hand and stared at the thumb. Something was strange, out of place. The blurriness of my vision suddenly came into focus. The scar was gone. Why? How could it be gone? I hurriedly sat up. I stared over my left hand again. Well, he just saved Sara from death in a way that's didn't make sense because Tsugumi and Yu already pronounced her dead. Now, this can happen if you have the Never17 version of Curé, where if you believe that you can save somebody, they will be saved. If you really believed it. We don't really have anything saying how much the kid actually thought he could save Sarah. We just thought he was just desperate. The scar was nowhere to be found. I was sure that there had been a scar there. I remember noticing it when I had opened the elevator to rescue Sara. Had it just been a figment of my imagination? No, I was sure it hadn't been. I was positive there had been a scar. But why had the scar suddenly vanished? A sense of loss flooded through me, making me feel like I had a gaping hole in my heart. I sensed that I had lost something critically important, but was unsure of what. That was how I felt. Sora. Forgetting that Sara was sleeping, I shouted for Sora.
はい、少年さん、何か？
Yes, kid, what is it? Sora's voice answered me. Sora, did you do something to me?
何かとは？
Something? What do you mean? Don't pretend you don't know. There was a scar on my left hand. But it's now gone.
ああ、そのことですか。
Oh, so that's what you mean. Sora appeared in the entrance of the room. What are you talking about?
眠っている間に摘出しておきました。
While you were sleeping, I extracted it. Extracted
こ
what?
ちらにいらしてください。
Perhaps you could come over here. It's the piece of the pennant. I approached the examination table as Sora suggested.
これです。
This. Sora pointed to a small shard suspended by a manipulator arm above the examination table.
これが埋まっていたので摘出させていただきました。
This was embedded in your thumb, so I extracted it. What gave you the right to do that? It could have been a clue leading to my past. I let loose on Sora without
は
thinking.
い。ご指摘の点はごもっともです。
Yes, you're exactly right.
しかし、体の中に異物を入れておいても何も良いことはありませんよ。
However, nothing good can come of leaving a foreign object in your body to fester. Some surgeries are that. Literally intentionally putting a foreign object in your body.
それより少年さん、
More importantly,
このかけらに見覚えはありませんか？
kid, do you recall seeing this fragment before? No, how could I? It didn't make sense to me why Sara would ask such a thing. You mean Sora.
このかけらにはある画像が記録されていました。
This fragment has an image recorded on it. Sora continued speaking calmly. An
ご覧に
image?
なりますか？
Would you like to see it? I pinched the shard that had been buried in my thumb between my fingers. It had the same holographic image as in Sara's pennant. There's a picture of a man floating there, all just inside that one shard.
見えるのですか？
Can you see it? Yeah, I can see it.
実はこのホログラム、ある特定の波長の光線を照射しなければ見えない仕組みになっているのです。
This hologram was designed so that it could only be seen when viewed with light of a certain wavelength.
今はレミのシステムを使ってそのかけらに光線を当てています。
Right now, I'm using Lemire to shine the proper light on it.
このホログラム、製造年代は特定できませんでしたが、とても古いバージョンのものであることは確かです。
I could not confirm the date of manufacture of this hologram, but it is undoubtedly very old.
今、レミューの売店で売っているような商品とは基本的に原理が異なります。
Its makeup is fundamentally different from the ones being sold at the Lemu's kiosks.
かつてのホログラムは物体光と参照光、この2つの光によってできた 干渉島を記録したものでした。
In the past, holograms were recorded using an interference pattern made from an object beam and a reference beam. I just realized that we haven't had any choices since Sora asked us to teach her how to swim. That's a long time with no choices.
簡単に言うと、物体光は被写体に反射した光のこと。
Put simply, the object beam is the light reflected off the object.
参照光は物体光を干渉させる光のことです。
The
よろ
reference
しいです
beam,
か？
the reference beam is the light that interferes with the object beam. Do you understand? Sora continued on without giving me time to
そ
think.
してここからが大事なところなのですが、
And now comes the important part.
こうしてできたホログラムを再生するには、
In order to make the hologram appear,
記録した時の参照光と同じ波長の光をホログラムに当てなければならないのです。
light, which is the same wavelength as the reference beam used to record the image, must be shined upon it.
つまりまとめるとこういうことになります。
So to sum it up, it's like this.
このホログラムのかけらの画像はある特定の波長の光を使って撮影されたものであり、
The image on this fragmented hologram was recorded using light that was a certain wavelength.
この画像を見るためにはそれと同じ波長の光を当てなければならないということです。
And in order to see the image, you must shine light of the same wavelength on it.
蛍光灯の光では見えません。
It also cannot be seen under fluorescent light.
例えば日光やあるいはライターの炎のように高温で発熱する光源が必要なのです。
You must use light generated by a heat-emitting light source such as sunlight or the flame of a lighter. Here, it breaks heavily from physics. Photons are photons. The only thing that characterizes them is their energy. Like, the only thing that makes one different from another is the energy. Like 2 microns from fluorescent, 2 microns from something hot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where the photon come from. Photons of the same energy, photons of the same wavelength, photons of the same wavelength.
そして
And Sora continued her explanation. Yeah, as far as I actually didn't take holography in college because that course wasn't ever offered when I had when I would take it. Like the professor went on sabbatical. But if I were to make a wild guess at the simplest way to explain a hologram, it would be, or how to make a hologram, I would say, you do a Fourier transform. Anyway. She said the special wavelength of light was infrared and around 850 nanometers. And that ordinary people couldn't see infrared light. So 850 isn't that deep infrared. You might be able to see it. She went on to say that if a person were able to see infrared, they would even be able to see in the dark. But that they could only see objects that emitted heat. Put another way, objects that gave off heat also emit infrared rays. Okay. So, thermal noise. No. The sun, so the light you see that comes from the sun, that's actually just thermal noise. Why is it in the visible spectrum? Because the sun is just really, really hot. So, objects that gave off heat also emit infrared. No, it just takes less heat to emit infrared than it does higher frequencies. And if you could see infrared rays, then you could tell the temperature of something without having to touch it.
この映像はその赤外線を見ることができなければ見えません。
You would not be able to see this image unless you can see infrared light.
この映像が見えるということは、少年さんは赤外線が見えるということです。
The fact that you can see this image means that you can see infrared light, kid. It's like some random trivia about laser safety. You can't see infrared light in that you don't have rod and cone receptors that can transmit signals to your brain that are being hit by infrared. But infrared at sufficient power focused on your retina can still damage it. So you can't see the beam, but it can still damage your eye if it happens to transmit into it. So your eye will get damaged without you getting that whole blindy effect, and it's dangerous. Anyway, but what about Sarah? Does that mean that Sarah can too?
はい。お二人は赤外線が見える特殊な視力の持ち主ということになります。
Yes, both of you have a very unique ability to see infrared light. Thinking back on it, that probably explained why Takeshi and you couldn't see the image in the pennant. But why was this hologram in my finger? I trembled as I said this. It's the same image as in Sora's pennant. Are you saying that the missing piece of that pennant has been in my thumb?
それ以外に考えられません。
That is the only conceivable explanation.
鏡面の断面とかけらの形も一致しています。
The surface and shape of the pennant matched the pennant perfectly. But why?
それは少年さん、
That kid is a big twist.
あなたと松永さんが兄弟だからです。
Is because you and Sarah are siblings. You are the big brother. It can't be.
二人が赤外線視力を持っているのもそのためです。
So, when Sarah was kind of hitting on you, it was kind of a Luke situation. Is the same reason that you both have the ability to see infrared
お
light.
そらく遺伝によって受け継がれたものなのでしょう。
It's probably because you both carry the same genes. No. No! It's impossible!
少年さん、どうしてお喜びにならないのですか？
Kid, why wouldn't that make you happy?
あなたの肉親が見つかったのですよ。
You have found a blood relative.
記憶を取り戻すためのこれ以上の手がかりがあるでしょうか？
Is there any better way possible to recover your memory? No. No. I held my head and crouched down.
いずれにせよ、これは事実です。受け入れてください。
In either case, it is a fact, and you should accept it.
お二人が寝ている間に DNA 鑑定をさせていただきました。
While you two were asleep, I performed a DNA analysis on both of you.
データはディスプレイに表示してあります。
The results are indicated on the display.
お二人が兄弟である確率はほぼ 100% です。
Thus, the probability that you are brother and sister is nearly 100%. No. 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 Suddenly, the wall of my memory that I had tried so hard to destroy, but I had been unable to breach, crumbled. Like a dam that was holding back the overflow of my memory, it burst, unleashing a torrent of images that flooded into my mind. Memories of my life, in no apparent order, flashed across my mind like random slides appearing on a screen. From one to the next, they floated up and vanished. My mind couldn't handle the flood of memories. And then came the darkness. I heard a lullaby coming from somewhere.
まかいかかげし水のせい夢の中より待ち降りぬ今宵鳥船渦巻き鬼早く今夏と待ち降りぬ眠りたもゆるゆるゆられ眠りたも海に抱かれて
I luckily opened my eyes. I was lying on a hard bed. I heard a voice crying from outside. There was a girl surrounded by a group of bullies in an open space. It was Sarah. The kids were being cruel, jeering her and making fun of her in only the way that kids can. I ran up to Sarah. The bullies scattered like baby spiders in the wind. Sarah had said that her precious pendant had been broken. Sarah clutched the pendant firmly in her hand. I bent over to pick the fragment from it. I felt a sudden shock from behind. I was plunged forward. With a sharp pain, the shard was buried in my thumb. The kids that always bullied Sarah had encircled us. The laughter and howls of our tormentors echoed around us. You bullies, how could you do this to Sarah? Forgetting myself, I lunged at the mob of kids. They beat me mercilessly, and as I lay on the ground in that open space, I faced skyward. Satisfied with what they had done to me, the bullies had left. Sarah came and held out her hands
お
to
兄
me.
ちゃん強いね。
You are so brave, Oni-chan. She smiled as she said it. Even though I lost, blood continued to drip from my finger. Not wanting to worry Sarah, I pretended that everything was fine and dismissed it as nothing. I didn't say anything to our teacher. I didn't go to the doctor. I just silently endured the pain. It seemed to me that to tell someone of it would mean that I had lost. In time, the wound closed up. Then one day, a nice lady in a suit came. She told us there was a place we could go where things would be better. Saying this, the lady held out her hand. We could see things that other people couldn't. At first, we thought our abilities were normal, but everyone had shunned us. The lady said she wanted to study us. I decided to go along with the idea. Our caretakers at the orphanage there lived happy see us leave because they thought we were troublemakers. We fell right into their trap. They locked us up in a small hospital room. Day in and day out, we were marched from that room to the research institute. At night, moonlight would stream in from the lone window. The only things I remembered was the Lieblich logos and the doors we passed every day, and the white frocks of the research employees. And every night the voice of Sarah crying in the room next to me. One day there was something in the air that was different from other days. We were taken from our rooms and led to a research office in a different area. People who I'd never seen before took me away. Sarah alone was left there.
お兄ち
Oni-chan. I could hear Sarah's screams. I shook off the adult hands and ran to where Sarah was. The researchers tried to block my path.
ゃん
Sarah.
お兄ちゃん
Oni-chan. Sarah, wait for me. I'll come back for you, I promise. I will come find you. Be a good girl and wait for me.
いい子にして待ってるから
I'll be good and wait for you.
必ず来てね迎えに来てね
Come for sure. You come to get me for sure, okay?
ずっと待ってるから
I'll wait. I'll wait forever. Huh. I had promised. That was how things were. Back when I had promised to go get her. But I hadn't gone, couldn't go. I was moved to another facility. After a while, I was taken to a new home. My foster parents were good people. They were good to me if I didn't get out of line. But they had sold their souls too and were controlled by Leiblich. I passed my time under their forgiving but ever-present eyes, not being able to search for Sarah. Still, there were times when I did my best to find leads to her. But I didn't even know where the research facility was, and something would always get in my way, after a while I couldn't search anymore. I just hadn't been able to help Sarah with my limited powers. But no matter what excuses I came up with, the result was the same. I had abandoned Sarah. In the isolated clinic room into which the cold moonlight shined, I couldn't keep my promise. Even now, Sara was on the other side of the door. I knew that she was still waiting for me in the miserable little room, still believing in me, just as I had promised. The sense of guilt I felt overpowered me. It left me with agonizing sense of hopelessness and utter despair. There was nothing I could do. I didn't have any other choice. What else could I have done? When I opened my eyes, I was lying on a bed in the infirmary. I didn't know if someone had brought me there or I had dragged myself unconsciously. I looked at my watch without thinking, but not much time had passed since I had passed out. Laying on the bed, I looked up at the ceiling and thought about the events leading up to this point. The reason I had known that it was too hot inside the generator room was my infrared vision. And the moonlight coming from the inverter unit had been the same thing. In the darkness, I had mistaken the heat from the inverter as moonlight. And the shock that I felt when I met Sara made sense too. We were siblings after all. Probably even without my memory, in the back of my mind I had known. That's why, the first time I had seen Sara, and why had she grasped my thumb in the darkness? Why had she sung that lullaby that time?
本当に知らない？
You really don't know.
そっか。そうだよね。
Oh, I see, that's right. It seemed to me that Sara had probably noticed that we were brother and sister. So, I raised myself up. Sara was still asleep in the bed next to me. I stood next to Sara's pillow and stared down at her face. My memory was still a little jumbled, but there was no mistaking that face. It was Sara. Little Sara had grown to be 16. It had to be her. I was sure it was Sara. The sister that I had made a promise to find, but then broke. I felt so guilty and ashamed I couldn't look at Sara's face. It was hard just being there. I didn't know what to say to Sara. What excuses could I make to her? No matter what I said to her, it would all ring hollow. I wanted to get out of there before Sara woke up. I walked toward the door.
お兄ちゃん？
Oni-chan. With her voice, my legs stopped. I didn't have the courage to turn around.
ねえ。お兄ちゃんなんだよね。
And she says this, like, right after you remember it. You are my brother, right? Sara continued talking. Each of her words were like a stab in the
お
heart.
兄ちゃん？
Oni-chan. No. I spit out the words without thinking. Huh? You're wrong about me.
そんなはずない。
That can't be.
お兄ちゃんでしょ？
My brother, right? No. I sensed that Sara was about to get up from the bed and I tried to
待っ
leave.
て。待
Wait.
ってお兄ちゃん。
Brother, wait. Her voice sounded like when she had cried out to me when she was a child and I froze unable to move.
お兄ちゃんでしょ？ねえ、そうだよね。
Oni-chan. Desu. You are, aren't you? Sara grabbed my shoulders.
なんで黙ってるの？こっちを向いてよ。
Why don't you say something? Look at me. Sara circled around in front of me, all the time holding my shoulders. But I couldn't bear to look Sara in the face and turned away.
ねえ、お兄ちゃん。なんでこっちを見てくれないの？
Hey. Oni-chan, why won't you look at me?
ねえ、私を見てよ。
Hey, look at me.
ねえったら。
I said look at me. No, no, no. I shook off Sara's hands. Sara threw her arms around me and hugged me tightly. Sara's eyes stared directly at me.
どうして否定するの？
Why are you denying me?
お兄ちゃんでしょ？お兄ちゃんなんでしょ？
You are my brother, right? You are, aren't you? No,
ど
I'm...
うして？違わないよ。
Why not? I know you
お
are.
兄ちゃんだよ。
You're my brother, my
待
brother.
ってたんだよ。ずっと待ってたんだよ。
I waited for you. I waited and waited.
お兄ちゃんのことずっと待ってたんだよ。
I waited forever for you to come.
お兄ちゃん。
Brother? Sarah fell to the ground and I said nothing to her. I just ran out of the room. That's right, I ran away. I ran from Sarah and from my past. I squatted in the small room in the back of the warehouse. All I could do was just keep running away from Sarah and my past. I was such a coward. Overcome by the memories that had come rushing back to me, I had run away from my sister. I couldn't even accept my own weakness. I denied myself. It was less scary than acknowledging what I had done. I was such a coward. Had I known this would happen, I would have never wanted my memory back. Things are better when I didn't remember anything. Crouched there in the corner, I was paralyzed. I couldn't face Sarah, my own sister. All I could do was watch the time pass by. My memory had been completely restored, apart from recent events. I knew my age, address, and phone number. I also remember the foster mother and father. Still, there was just one crucial thing that I couldn't remember. That was my name. What was my name? What was I called? I didn't know. Why was that the only thing that I couldn't remember? Because plot! Because that is a big reveal. That's gonna give away everything. As long as I couldn't remember that, I felt incomplete. As if the essence of my existence concentrated into my name. As long as I couldn't remember my name, I couldn't feel complete. That is how I felt. No matter how much else I remembered, that one point escaped me. Then I thought back about what it was that had made me lose my memory. The massive guilt I felt towards Sarah? I wondered if that was why I had repressed my memory. But there was too much about that theory that didn't make sense. I had lost my memory before meeting Sarah, and before the accident at Lemieux. And I couldn't remember what I was doing just before then, or why I had come to Lemieux. It might have been that I had seen Sarah at Lemieux, and then it had happened. But something didn't seem right about that either. I couldn't imagine why only my name and recent events would not come back to me. I had already remembered Sarah. It would make sense for me to remember everything. I wondered what kind of amnesia it might be. So what names have we heard that we haven't put a character to? I can't think of any. I mean, we got that big long list, but none of those I recognize from anything besides Makoto. Huh. Is you Yubisai Harukana and we are Yubisai Makikana? Huh. Sudden sound and shaking made me look up. The next instant, warning alarms started shrieking. All around me, the squeal of straining metal echoed from the structure. The shaking continued on and off. What? I ran out of the room. Water? I noticed something strange as I emerged in the corridor. Water was flowing in. I couldn't believe that water could have reached here. Kid! You! What is this? Did something happen?
説明は後。とにかく早くこっちに。
I'll explain later. For now, just hurry over here.
脱
What?
出口が見つかったの。
I found a way out. Where?
説明は後。とにかくもうやばいのよ。
I'll explain later. Just hurry up. With these words of encouragement, you started running. She turned the corner, heading for stairs leading to the emergency corridor. What about everyone else?
マユは倉谷が迎えに行ってる。つぐみはもう非常通路にいるわ。
Takeshi is going to get Mayo. Tsugumi is already at the emergency corridor. We dashed toward the stairs to the emergency corridor and climbed to the emergency corridor. Takeshi, Tsugumi, and Sara were already gathered there.
急げ、時間がないぞ。
Hurry, we don't have much time. What happened?
いいから急げ。
Just hurry. Saying that, he started running ahead of everyone else. Tsugumi followed suit.
いい？よく聞いて。すでにレミューは悪化を始めてる。
Listen, Lemieux is already starting to collapse. You pushed my back, encouraging me. I started
やっと
running.
地上と連絡がついて、非常階段が使えるようになったの。
We were finally able to make contact with the surface, and now the emergency stairs are accessible.
でも急がないとそこもまた浸水してしまうかもしれない。
But if we don't hurry, they're going to
だ
flood.
からとにかく急いで。
So just hurry. You explain the situation from behind me. I followed Takeshi and Tsugumi as we sprinted the distance to the emergency stairs. We soon reached the stairs. Takeshi and Tsugumi were already
急
climbing.
げ、こっちだ。
Hurry this way. Takeshi's voice rang down from above. I ran, following the sound of their footsteps. As we were trying to escape, Lemuel began to shake and screech as metal clashed with metal. But we just kept climbing towards the top. Only the sound of everyone's laboring breathing and running footsteps on the stairs echoed throughout the emergency stairs.
もう少しだ。もう少しだぞ。
Just a little more, we're almost there. Takeshi shouted up ahead. Takeshi's voice was full of hope. It was then that we realized it.
マヨがいない。
Mayo isn't here. You shouted it. Huh?
なんだって？
What'd you say? I stopped and looked back. You stood on the stairs, stunned, and looked
そんな
downwards.
後ろにいたはずなの。私の後ろに。
What happened? She was right behind me.
なんだ？一体どうした？
What happened? Takeshi and the others came down the stairs.
蔵なりマヨがいないの。
Takeshi, Mayo isn't here.
なんてことだ。ついてくるのを確認しなかったのか？
Geez, didn't you check to see that she was behind you?
最初は後ろにいたの。
She was right behind me from the
途
start.
中から私も登るのに夢中で。
Far way up, I got so into climbing. The stairs shook violently, and there was a large sound. At the same time, the lights that dimly lit the stairs went out.
くそ、停電か。今さら引き返すわけにはいかないぞ。
Damn, a blackout. We can't go back now.
今引き返せばみんなおだぶつだ。
If we double back, everyone's a goner. But I'll go. Huh? I'll go back. Everybody keep going. Without waiting for a reply, I started rushing down the stairs I had just
お
climbed.
い、少年。
Hey, kid!
無理よ。浸水が始まってるのよ。どうやって行くつもり？
It's impossible. It's already starting to flood. What do you think you're going to do? Well, I would make a siphon. The problem is that we don't get that idea because we didn't drink coffee with you. Their voices rang out behind me. Swim.
下は真っ暗なのよ。
It's pitch black below. No problem. I can see. I could actually see the different parts of the stairs by the different temperatures. It was the first time I had ever been thankful for my unusual vision. There were hints of that! I just realized, like... There was a scene where I could see in the dark. What was it? Whatever. Oh, it was when they were fixing the generator, right? And they were by the generator door, or something like that. I went down the stairs and came out as Vitae Stock's emergency corridor. It looked like the emergency power had already died. I wondered where Sarah might be. I thought frantically. If she had turned back part way, then she probably wouldn't have made it to Drittstock. But I couldn't be sure. If she had gone all the way down to Drittstock, then I would never make it in time if I looked around Zweitestock first. I didn't know what to do. I had to decide whether I would start looking at Drittstock or Zweitestock. Save, like so much save. Okay. This is the first decision in a while. And this might be the home stretch. This is like in the Yuka route in Ever17, where you get, should I let Saki tell me about that boy or should I not, right? It's like that last sequence of choices you have to do that you have to do correctly. Hopefully we can finish this up. So, I would think that Turete stock is what I should pick, just a guess. But you could try to think through it. On Turete stock, you had where the Cosmic Whale room used to be, the generator room, the pipe room for the generator, the control room, the Lemurian ruin, the rest area, and the conference room. On Zweite stock, you have the security office, the infirmary, the elevator hall, the quale, which is the jellyfish gondola, and the carousel dolphine, which is the dolphin carousel, and the the place where like the gift shop place. Also on Drite stock, I believe, is the kiosk. So, which would you associate more with Sarah? Well, you would associate Sarah more with Drite stock because that's where the cosmic whale room was. Even though that's destroyed now, her room is there, and the most closely related character to Sarah is you, and her room was the Lemurian ruin, and that was also on Drite stock. There isn't really much to associate Zvite stock with Sarah unless she's in the infirmary. So I'm gonna go with Drite stock. Decided to start searching with Drite stock. I figured that water pressure would be higher there and the flooding more serious. If she was Drite stock, then I'd have to start there and have time to hope. I had to have there to have any hope of finding her. I headed downstairs to Drite stock. Reaching the emergency corridor, I arrived at Drite stock. If Sarah was here, where would she be? The conference room or the control room? Or could she have been at one of the attractions? I didn't have much time. Peering down from the emergency hatch, I realized that the flooding had already progressed a lot. It seemed the best to check each room for the emergency corridor rather than going all the way down. I wondered if Sarah really were on this floor. From having come so far, I knew there was no going back. I ran through the emergency corridor. I exited on the emergency corridor furthest outside. Opening the emergency hatch to each room, I peeked inside. If Sarah was there, I'd be able to see her body heat. I looked in the conference room and the control room, but there was no sign of her there. The water only continued to rise. The doors beyond the elevator hall didn't open. I frantically ran down the emergency corridor, moving from one attraction to the next. I checked the rest area and then looked down into the Lemurian ruins, but Sarah wasn't there. Maybe she wasn't on this floor. The sound of the water grew louder and shaking on the structure stronger. I didn't hurry. I couldn't make it back to Zvite stock. I knew I had to hurry to the emergency stairs. I suddenly got this feeling they said have this conversation like I didn't come back for you then, but I'm coming back for you now, kind of thing. I sprinted the stairs and up to Zvite stock. I had lost a lot of time. I had to hurry. Finally arrived at Zvite stock. Lemu was shaking terribly at the area below the emergency hatch had already filled with water. It looked like water was about to flood into the corridor. I plunged into the water. Swimming desperately to the security office, I forgot the pain in my arm and looked inside. Sarah wasn't there. I was able to steal a breath using the air at the bottom of the top of the room. Where could Sarah be? I dove into the water again and swam for the infirmary. The infirmary door was open. I looked inside. Sarah. Sarah's body stood out white in the dark water. This room also had a pocket of air near the ceiling. Sarah was just barely floating there. I floated to the surface. Sarah. I swam up next to Sarah.
兄ちゃん
You're alright. Oh, that sounded like Oni-chan in the Japanese. Are you okay, Sarah?
大丈夫だよ
Yeah, I'm alright. She smiled weakly. She was spent and unsteady on her feet.
お兄ちゃんなんで
Why did you
戻
come
ってき
back?
たの
I came back to get you, of course.
迎えに
To get me. Sure, I promised, didn't I?
そっかやっと迎えに来てくれたんだね
I see, you finally came to get me. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sarah. I know I made you wait such a long time.
いいんだよもう
No, it's alright.
こうして来てくれたんだもん
I mean, you came and everything. Sarah, why'd you come back?
あの
To
これを取りに
get this. Say that Sarah removed the fragment that was embedded in my finger.
こ
That's...
れを忘れてたから
I forgot this. You came back for
だ
that?
って これはお兄ちゃんが私を守ってくれた大切な証だから。
Because this is proof of how you looked after me.
これがなくなってしまったらお兄ちゃんとの絆までなくしてしまいそうな気がしたから。
I felt like if this disappeared, then my connection to you would be gone.
ご
Sarah.
めんね。お兄ちゃんまで巻き込んじゃって。
Sorry I got you involved in this mess. Wait, that's a big deal, that line. That's a big bomb you just dropped. You organized this? Sorry, it's okay.
ごめんなさい。
I'm so sorry. It's alright, I only came to keep my
お
promise.
兄ちゃん。
Thank you. I desperately tried to prop up Sarah and keep her from sinking.
ごめんね。もうダメ。浮かんでいられないや。
Sorry, I can't keep up anymore. Sarah, hold
ごめん
on.
ね。ごめんね、お兄ちゃん。
Sorry, so sorry. Sarah, hang on, fight
なん
Sarah.
だかぼーっとしてきちゃった。
For some reason, I'm dizzy. Sarah! I remembered that the air pressure here was compressed to 4.5 atmospheres because of the water pressure. Sarah had probably gotten oxygen poisoning from breathing the oxygen-heavy air. That compounded with the fatigue from treading water in the cold seawater. The combination had probably rapidly robbed Sarah of her strength. Sarah, hang in there.
お兄ちゃん頑張るね。
Chan, I'll try.
でももう体が動かない。
But my body won't move anymore. I didn't know what to do, and I finally found Sarah. Anyway, let's head for the emergency corridor. Before the water hadn't flooded into the emergency corridor. If we could just get there. Listen, Sarah, I grabbed the weakened Sarah and tried to dive underwater. It was then that it happened. Screech. A metallic scream echoed through Lemieux as a shock racked the structure. At the same time, the flow of the water increased dramatically. The shock shook Sarah loose from my grasp. I hurriedly struggled to lift her up. It looked like she had swallowed some water. Her breathing was labored. What should I do? What could I do? As a dull groan, Lemieux tilted, causing the water to ripple. Hang on, Sarah, just hang on. I called to Sarah as they desperately floated in the waves on the surface.
お兄ちゃんごめんね。ごめんね。
I'm so sorry, so sorry.
体が動かないよ。
No, Sarah, hang on. We finally found each other. Sarah, open your eyes, Sarah.
お兄ちゃん
Oni-chan.
来てくれてありがとう。
Thank you. Coming back. Thank you. Sarah's body went limp. I swore inside my mind. Why? I wondered if there was no way that I could save Sarah. No, you just make the other choice. I took a big breath and holding Sarah dove underwater. I meant to get us out of Lemieux. If I let us stick around, we would have been crushed. The irregular shocks continued, and the sounds of metal on metal echoed harshly. Lemieux had already mostly filled with water. I ducked into a crack running down the wall that had just big enough and slipped outside. There was a sprawling darkness of the water surrounded me. There, the sprawling darkness of the ocean surrounded me. My only hope was the light piercing through the water from above. Clutching Sarah, I swam toward it. But swimming with my injured arm and holding a limp Sarah was nearly impossible. The water pressure constricted my chest, forcing out my air. But I kept swimming. My body was screaming for air. My eyes clouded, flashes of white light darted across my vision. It was no good. I couldn't see. I wasn't sure if I was heading upward or maybe downward. My right arm, Sarah, felt cold and nearly frozen. Gulp. I couldn't read this. It was going too fast. And you drowned and went to heaven. Yes, save, I got a bad ending. Okay. It's gonna tell me I got 5 out of 11 now. 99 out of 126 scenes, 176 out of 225 pass, 75 out of 114 something or others, 7 out of 17 screensavers. Sarah version, bad end. Oh no, the VR sensor version. Yeah, we're skipping one of those things. Okay. Let's go back and choose Vitae stock first. Then maybe we could get there in time. I guess you could think of that because you could think that Sarah went back for the broken piece of the pennant, but it's a long shot. Okay. I would think most people would pick Vitae stock. No, I thought Sarah was somewhere in Vitae stock. I didn't know why, but I was sure of it. She was probably somewhere in Vitae stock. I knew it might be a meaningless hunch. No, it's not. We played the other route and we saw that it ends badly. I don't know how that's meaningless at all. But maybe it was our sibling bond talking to me. Sarah and I had the same blood in our veins. That was my thinking. It was probably my imagination, but it was all I had to bet on. I opened the emergency hatch and saw that water had already covered 3/4 of the corridor. Without hesitation, I threw myself in. The water flowed unpredictably, with whirlpools forming here and there. I endured the pain on my right arm and swam desperately. First, I looked in the security office. There was no source of heat that looked like Sarah. From there, I made to the warehouse, but Sarah wasn't there. I checked the merry-go-round, but she wasn't there either. Ahead of me was the elevator hall. Again, no Sarah. I swam back up the corridor. Water had completely covered the entrance of the infirmary. I took a breath and dove underwater. Put my hand on the door and peered inside. And there was Sarah. Sarah's body heat made her stand out brightly against the cool surrounding darkness. It doesn't let me skip this. I went into the infirmary and floated up to the surface. Sarah looked surprised when I broke through the surface.
少年。お兄ちゃん。
Kid, I mean Oni-chan. Sarah, you're
お
alright?
兄ちゃん。どうして？
Oni-chan, why are you? I promised, didn't I? I told you that I'd come find you, didn't I? May 7th. Finally, the roaring sound stopped and the flow of water slowed. The squeaking and screeching on metal also died down. It seemed that the flooding had stopped. Why? There is still a little air left in the ceiling of the infirmary. It was kind of like a cup flipped upside down, filled mostly with water. Sarah and I were floating there. It looks like things had quieted down a bit. I looked at Sarah. In the darkness, the only thing throwing off a gentle aura of light was Sarah. Sarah, you alright?
大丈夫。ちょっと寒いかな。
Yeah, I'm okay, just a little cold. Sarah forced a smile for me. Sarah, why did you come back? All you had to... Still won't let me skip this. All you had to do was go a little more and you would have been safe. Well, that was a slightly different line.
お兄ちゃん、怒らない？
You promise you won't get mad? Mad? Why would I get
だっ
mad?
て、
Well, just tell me. I thought something was strange. From the beginning, Sarah had always seemed like she had the upper hand in our relationship. But now that we knew that we were brother and sister, it felt like things had been reversed. Now Sarah was lying on me like when we were kids.
あのね、お兄ちゃん。
Well,
これ、
this. Sarah lifted her right hand. Pinched between her fingers was the shard of the mirror from my finger. Hey, isn't that piece of the mirror?
途中でこれを置きっぱなしだったのに気がついたの。
Yeah, I realized when we were running that this had been left here. So you came back for something like this?
こんなものじゃないよ。
It's not just
お
anything.
兄ちゃんが必死で守ってくれた大事なものだよ。
This is something that you fought so hard to protect, Sarah. But this isn't something worth risking your life to come back for. You had the pin in anyway.
ごめんね。
You're right, I'm sorry.
お兄ちゃんまで巻き添えにしちゃって。
I got you involved in all of this. I chose to turn back. You can't blame yourself for that.
ごめん。
No, I'm sorry. After that, Sarah didn't speak for a while. Sarah?
本当はそれだけじゃないの。
To tell the truth, it wasn't just that. Huh?
外に出るのが怖かったの。
I was scared to go outside. Scared of what?
外に出たらまた元のような日々が戻ってくるんだって思ったら、
I thought that once I got outside, everything would return to like it was.
それ以上足が動かなくなったの。
Once I thought about that, I couldn't move anymore. Like it was. What are you talking
ま
about?
たライプリヒに監視されて自由も何もない世界に戻るのかと思ったら、
I thought that Leiblich would start controlling us again, and all my freedom would be taken away.
もう二度とこんな自由を味わえないのかと思ったら動けなかった。
I thought that I'd never free again. I was paralyzed.
レ
Paralyzed.
ミューに閉じ込められてからみんなは何とか脱出しようとしてたみたいだけど、
Ever since we've been trapped in Lemu, everyone had been trying to escape, but
私は
I
嬉し
was
かっ
happy.
た。
But I was happy, even though Lemu is one of Leiblich's facilities.
どこにも監視する人もいない。私の意思で何でも決めていいんだって。
Nobody was looking over me, and I've been able to decide things for myself.
そう思ったらすごく嬉しかった。
I thought about that, I was so
ラ
happy.
イプリヒの研究所に入ってからこんな自由を感じたことは一度もなかったから。
Ever since I entered Leiblich's Research Institute, I haven't felt free even once. Sarah's words left me stunned. How'd they have so much time to talk all these things? I wonder why I never thought of things that way before. Leiblich had written me off early on. I figured that it was probably because the only special power I had was seeing infrared light. But Sarah was probably different. The way that she had been able to use computers, you had called her a first-rate hacker. It was probably only the beginning. After I had left the institute, Sarah must have lived under constant observation and undergone experiments. Thinking about it then amazed me.
最初はこの事故も私の能力を試すための実験か何かかと思ったの。
When all this started, I thought this accident was some kind of test of my abilities or something.
空が RSD だって分かった後は私の監視役なんじゃないかって疑ったりもしたんだ。
I figured out that Sora was RST generated. I suspected that she was here to observe me.
でもナッキュ先輩もいたし、どうもそうではなくて本当の事故なんだって分かった後は
Since Naki was here, I realized that it was probably just an accident.
嬉しかった。
And it made me happy, although it probably was not just an accident.
今までずっとどこにいても誰かが私のことを監視してた。
Till now, everywhere I've gone, there's been someone watching me.
高校の中ででも街に出てもずっと
Even in high school or when I went out around
逃
town.
げ出そうとしても無駄だった。私は研究所に帰るしかなかった。
It was pointless trying to escape. The only place I had to go back to was the research lab.
研究所に帰ればまた実験や検査の繰り返し。
Back at the lab, the only thing waiting for me was more experiments and tests.
私には自由なんかどこにもなかった。
I've never had an ounce of freedom.
だからね、私にはあの事故が嬉しかったの。
I suppose that's why I was happy about the accident.
そんなこと言ったらいけないのかもしれないね。みんなは必死だったんだし。
I shouldn't say it. I mean, everyone was so desperate and everything.
でも私には今まで
But I've
こん
never
な
had
自由
freedom.
はなかったから。
But I've never had freedom like this. Sarah. That was all that I could say. Sarah's each and every word made my heart ache. I knew that wasn't Sarah's intention. but it felt like every word of hers was a confession to me. Of course, I had been under surveillance as well, but it had been nowhere near as strict. As long as I didn't do anything out of the ordinary, it was like there was no one there. The whole time I had been living carefree. But Sarah had been under Liebig's careful watch the whole time, their guinea pig. Why hadn't I gone to help Sarah earlier? I promised that I would, but I hadn't. Of course, I had tried, but everything I did was blocked by Liebig's far-reaching influence. Still, I knew there could be no excuses. Why hadn't I tried harder?
お
Why?
兄ちゃん
Brother. Sarah was calling to me. I had been daydreaming in my own world.
お兄ちゃんありがとう
Thank you. For what?
来てくれたから
Because you came. No, I left you there by yourself. I didn't come for
う
you.
ん来てくれたよ
Yes, you did.
ありがとう来てくれて
And I want to thank you. Sarah said this and smiled. So the person he was waiting for was Sarah? He went to Lei Mu for Sarah? The smile also seemed tinged with resignation.
もういいんだ
I don't care anymore.
私はここで死んでもいい
It's okay to die here. He figured out about the field trip and he knew he could catch her at Lemu. Sarah, what are you saying?
だって最後に自由を味わえたし
I finally tasted freedom,
お兄ちゃんにもこうして会えたんだもん
and I was able to meet you.
あんな生活に戻るくらいならいっそ
And if it means going back to the life I had before, then I'd rather
このままここで死んでしまった方がいいよ
dying here and now would be better.
私には今まで死ぬ自由もなかったから
Up until now, I never even had the freedom to die. Her words shocked me into silence. I had no idea what Sarah's life up until now had been so hard. But, no, Sarah.
お兄ちゃん
What? Don't talk like that. We're going to live no matter what. I wasn't about to let Sarah die here. There was absolutely no way that I would let Sarah die. If you die here, then it means you've lost to them. You're going to live, survive no matter what. It was my responsibility to help Sarah live. Sarah, let's go. I
ど
said,
こに
where? To the ocean surface.
どうやって
How? We'll swim.
無理だよ気圧が
It's impossible. The pressure will be okay. The air pressure here has been compressed compressed by the water pressure. We're about 4.5 atmospheres here. Even if we go out into the ocean from here, our lungs will be okay.
でも
But still, I don't know what help will come for us. And even if it does, it might be too late. Besides, it is too dangerous for us to stay here. Listen, Sarah, we're breathing at 4.5 atmospheres. If we stay here, we are in danger of oxygen poisoning or nitrogen narcosis. And we have no idea how long Lemu will hold. If Lemu collapses, then we'll get dragged down with it. It's too dangerous to stay here.
ね
Hey, what?
え私が泳げないの知ってるでしょ
You know I can't swim, right? You'll be okay. You're kind of swimming right now, aren't you? You'll just have to remember the lessons I gave
で
you.
も違うよ
But it isn't the same.
今は浮かんでるだけだもん
I'm just floating right now.
外に出て泳ぐのとは違うよ
It's different than swimming in the ocean. Sorry, you'll be okay, don't worry. I'll lead you. I'll pull you all the way.
そんなの無理だよ
No, it's not possible. You can do it. Believe in your brother. Believe in your brother that believes in you. I came here, I came to help you,
お
Sarah.
兄ちゃん
Brother. By the way, I've never seen that anime. I just know it from people referencing it. Sarah, believe in me. Sarah clasped the pendant she was wearing around her neck. Let's go, Sarah.
お兄ちゃん
Okay. I mean, what do you have to lose? You want to die anyway. No, I pulled Sarah along with me and we left the infirmary. Oh, yes. We moved from air pocket to air pocket, looking desperately for a place where the wall had collapsed in. When we finally found a tear big enough for us to squeeze through, we doubled back to the nearest air pocket. We took a number of short breaths to boost the oxygen level in our blood. And finally, taking a big breath, I grabbed onto Sarah's hand and led her through the hole and into the ocean. With the walls and floor gone, for an instant I lost sense of which way was up and which was down. Soon I saw a faint light in the water above. I held Sora under my arm and headed for that light. I desperately thrashed my legs and swam with my broken arm. The water pressure was slowly pulling the air from my lungs. Sarah's face was twisted in pain. I was in agony. Still, I swam, struggling to pull Sora towards the light. I kept kicking, believing that it would make it to the source of the light when everything... If I could make it to the source of the light, then everything would be okay. Reference to the opening, the prologue. Even if all of the oxygen were squeezed out of my lungs, I was not about to let Sarah die here. That thought kept me moving. Slowly, gradually, the light was getting bigger. Sarah's arm squeezed me in desperation. Hoping to give Sarah courage, I gripped her tighter with my left arm. As if in response, Sarah gave me a smile and started trying to swim upward. I matched her movement, swimming desperately. Come, Sarah, let's go. Toward the light. I was never going to let Sarah go again. I was never going to leave my precious sister behind again. Never again, Sarah. Ambiguous? It's like the life reading one's burned in. After credits scene. I heard a low mechanical sound from far away. The breeze passed through the trees, making them rustle. The same wind gently caressed my cheeks. Wind? Rustling leaves. I opened my eyes slowly. I didn't know where I was for a moment. Had there been a place like this in Limu? I looked up. There was no ceiling. There was just a sprawling starry sky. It was not like a fake sky like in the cosmic whale room, but a sky that felt broad and infinite. I was on the ground. More precisely, I was on the floating island in Sel Nol. Yes, I had. No, we had swam to it. The nearly 100 feet from Zweite to the surface. Somehow I had climbed into the emergency entrance of Incel Knoll holding Sarah unconscious in my arms. I remember checking to see if Sarah was alright. After that I probably fainted from fatigue and lack of oxygen. I woke with a start, looking out around, and was relieved to see Sarah lying down next to me. Her chest rose and fell faintly. I could hear the regular sound of her breathing. I looked around again. You need to find Tsugumi because you need to not get taken in by Live Lake, and she's the only one who might have the ability to prevent that somehow. I checked around the edge of Incel Knoll, which was a lush park. I could see the administration center, hotel, and a tower of light behind the trees. It was still dark, so it didn't seem I'd been unconscious very long. Maybe about an hour or so. I was impressed that we had been able to swim all the way to the surface. I went over it again in my head. Suddenly a conversation in the control room with Sarah came to my mind.
15階建てのビルを想像してみてください。
Please imagine a 15-story building.
あるいは3階建ての校舎を5個積み重ねたものでも良いかもしれません。
Or 5 3-story school buildings stacked vertically upon each other. 5 schools stacked. No way, I couldn't swim that.
では10階建てのビルではどうですか？
Well then how about a 10-story building?
水深34メートル。ツバイトシュトックがこの位置にあります。
A depth of 100 feet. That is the depth of Vitae stock. 100 feet. How I had responded to Sora. Or 34 meters, right? I remembered. I had said it was impossible. Sora said I was being rational. But even Sora could be wrong. We were able to swim it, Sora. And that reminded me. I wondered what had happened to Sora. Had she suffered the equivalent of death from the blackout? No, Sora was RSD generated. She wasn't human. She couldn't die. I knew that, but I had been with her for such a long time. And Sora was, how can I describe it? She was so human. I felt a blunt sense of sadness as if I had lost a close friend. Sarah's voice pulled me back to reality. This was not the time to be thinking about such things. Sarah! Sarah! I shook Sarah's shoulder gently. Sarah opened her eyes slightly.
お兄ちゃん
Oh, Nietzsche? Soon her eyes opened widely. Sarah hurriedly sat up.
お兄ちゃんここは
Where are we? Sarah didn't seem to understand the situation. Sarah, this is Incel Knoll.
じゃあ
So we're safe now, we made it. Over 100 feet from Svite stock.
まだ生きてる
Are we still alive? Yes, we are alive. You are, and I am too.
やったねお兄ちゃん
We did it. Yes, Sarah, we did it. We survived.
ありがとうお兄ちゃん
Yeah, thank you, brother. I told you to trust me.
そうだね
Yes, you did. Sarah smiled. She suddenly put her hand on her chest. She was probably touching the pendant under her shirt, checking to make sure it was still there. Looking relieved, she pulled the pendant out and grasped it in her
あ
hand.
りがとう
Thank you. Sarah whispered softly. I knew that the pendant was an irreplaceable lucky charm for Sarah. Her face suddenly clouded over as she spoke.
そうだお兄ちゃんナッキュ先輩やたけしたちは
Hey, brother. What about Nakyu, Takeshi, and the others? I think they are all right. By the time I turned back, they're already climbed fairly high. If they kept going, they would have reached the surface.
そうよかった
Really? That's good to hear. Sarah looked relieved.
私たちもいつまでもここにいるわけにはいかないね。
We can't stay here forever. We had made it to the surface safely, but Sarah didn't look very well. Was she worried about being taken back to Leiblich after all? Hey, Sarah.
何？
What? Let's just keep running. Let's run
逃
away.
げる？
Run away? Yes, from them. I mean from Leiblich.
そんな無理だよ。
No, it's impossible. It is
ど
possible.
うしてそんなこと言い切れるの？
How can you say that?
あいつらのことはお兄ちゃんだって知ってるでしょ？
You know about them, right? Think about it, Sarah. This island has to be in utter chaos. Right, Lamu flooded and the whole complex is totally destroyed. And since you and the others got out, this place should be in major confusion, right?
うん、そうだね。
Yeah, I suppose. They'll be telling everyone how we were left behind in Lamu. And for you and the others, it's the truth. If Leiblich has their doubts and tries to look into them, that's as far as they can investigate.
そっか。
Right. So right now, everyone, including Leiblich people, will be turning their attention to Lamu and looking into the ocean. They might actually think that we are already dead.
そっか。そうだよね。
Yes, that's true. So, now
チャンスなんだね。
now is our chance, isn't it? Right now is a chance we've been waiting for.
お兄ちゃんすごい。す
You are incredible, brother. We're already here, so it is impossible for them to find us in Lamu. And if they don't find us in Lamu, they'll expand their search for us to the sea around this area. Right? They might suspect that we died and the current carried us off
ごい。
somewhere.
その間に私たちが身を隠しちゃえば追ってくることなんかできないはずだよね。
In the meantime, if we hide somewhere, they shouldn't be able to follow us, right? Yeah, I'm not sure if we can pull it all off that easily. But we'll still have plenty of head start before they figure out the truth.
そっか。
Yeah, right.
でも、
But suddenly Sarah looked
でも
down.
この島からどうやって逃げるの？
How are we going to escape from this island?
だっ
What?
てここから出る方法がなきゃ逃げようがないでしょ？
Can't escape without a way off this island, right? Yeah,
それは？
that's... Sarah looked at me as if she was full of confidence in me. Oh, well. She had me. I hadn't thought about that. I thought we would be alright if we could just make it to the surface. I desperately tried to think of something. I know, I've got it. There should be all kinds of people around right now that aren't normally here, like construction workers and technical staff. So ships and helicopters should come and go frequently. First of all, we find some clothes and change. Especially your uniform, it really stands out.
そうだね。
Oh, you're right. Sarah looked herself over again. And if we can't get aboard a helicopter, then we can sneak into some ship and get to some port. And after that, we're going to be all right.
そっか。やっぱりお兄ちゃんすごいね。そこまで考えてたんだ。
You really are great. She really thought this through. No, well, sure. Sarah was innocently happy. I thought to myself that I could fight to protect her smile with my life. I thought that would be my mission. Let's go, Sarah. I held out my left hand to Sarah. Sarah reached out to me hesitantly. I held her hand tight and squeezed it tight. The warmth of her soft hand spread to mine. For an instant, the memory of Sarah holding my thumb flashed across my mind. That fragment in my hand, that shard that helped me retrieve my memory and rediscover the bond between Sarah and me. Let's go, Sarah.
お兄ちゃん。
Okay, Oni-chan. We're going to be
自
free.
由に。
Free. Yes, free. Yeah. I would never leave Sarah again. I would protect Sarah no matter what. We started running toward freedom. Opening the third eye, the last chapter, Finding Coco. It's unlocked. Cool. So, no new U's since I last checked. No new Tsugumis since I last checked. Although there will be 2. No new Sora since I last checked. There should be 1. Sora's filled out continuously. Up except 1 missing still, just like Sora, there's 1 missing for Sora as well. No new ones for Coco. 1 more miscellaneous, the fragment. And this miscellaneous for Sora. Okay, that's new. This one's new as well. Cool, and then look at the clear list. 7 out of 11. Done 101 out of 126, 177 out of 225, 79 out of 114 of whatever this is counting. Sara version good end. Sara version epilogue, which are the same. That's just epilogue is just an extra credit scene, so it just pads out the ending list length. Okay. Oh. Oh. Goodness gracious. Okay, so here's something I just noticed. Epilogue has the same amount of spaces, character widths, as good end. So it goes good end, epilogue, bad end. U version, good end, epilogue, bad end. But the epilogue was never triggered, and then maybe the reason why might have been because I didn't get the bad end. I have to get the bad end first before it triggers the epilogue. The problem is you didn't seem like the U ending didn't seem like it had an epilogue. But it could. They could do something with Yu's parents at the end to add an epilogue. So I guess I have to go back and get the U bad end, I guess. Well, shucks. Well, that won't be too hard. But anyway, I'll probably do that real quick. We got kid screensaver. We've got the Sara screensaver. Okay. Let's see here. Try to go for this you bad ending. It should trigger bad because they didn't do all the prerequisite you stuff. But I try to pound it and make it as bad as possible. Just really make the wrong decisions here. Your mom was a programmer too, then?
考古学者。
No, she is an archaeologist. Huh?
何か問題でも？
That's the problem. I didn't learn about that yet because I didn't do that route. You fired the question at me as she continued to battle with the computer. But archaeology... Okay, here we go. The Lemurian continent? Yeah, because you haven't done that yet. That reminded me, Sora had said that Lemieux had been named after a continent Lemuria. In Drite stock, there is an attraction called the Ruins of Lemuria.
レムリアっていうのは紀元前2億年から5000万年に存在したと言われる幻の大陸のこと。
So if you don't have this explained to you in the generator room, you end up with it explained to you here. Okay, Lemuria is this phantom continent that was said to have existed between 200 million to 50 million years BC.
その大陸では現代よりもはるかに高度な文明が栄えていたが、何らかの原因により一夜にして海の底へと没したとされている。
On it thrived an advanced civilization that was more advanced than what we have today, but overnight it just slipped down to the bottom of the ocean. You spoke as if she were reading from a textbook.
学者の中にはこの大陸こそ人類発祥の地だとか主張してる人もいるらしいけど、
Some scholars that contend that this continent was the origin of mankind.
まったく何言っちゃってるんだか。そんなことありえるわけないのにね。
You should open your eyes. There is no way that could even be possible. You don't believe it?
当たり前でしょ。考古学的にも地質学的にもほとんど根拠がないんだから。
Of course not. Archaeologically and geologically, the idea has no basis.
ちゃんとした研究が進むにつれて説得力はどんどん失われていって、もうまともな学問の分野では廃れきってる説なのよ。
The more real research is conducted, the more the theory is shot full of holes. It's no longer a legitimate field of study. You sure know a lot about it.
まあね、私も大学で考古学を専攻してるから。
Well, I am majoring in archaeology. Oh, you are? You and archaeology, somehow the two just did not seem to go together in my mind.
20世紀
It's kind of been bugging me. What do you mean that your mom is researching the third eye? Okay. What's the third eye?
ここで言う第三の目っていうのは伝説や伝承に出てくる超能力のような力のこと。
Third eye I'm talking about is this mythological one that deals with supernatural powers.
例えば
For example,
ヒンズー教のシバ神の額にある第三の目、ヨガでいう眉間のチャクラ、アジナーチャクラ。
like the third eye on the forehead of the Hindu god Shiva, like they say in yoga about the Agya chakra or third eye chakra,
仙道における炭鉱法。
or the astral light training by sages.
密教において弘法大師が室戸岬で治めたという虚空蔵菩薩九文字法。
Or like in esoteric Buddhism with the famous monk Kobo Daishi's ascetic training and evoking of the Kokuzo deity of space through the Kokuzo Gumo Jiho.
チベット密教などで言われる天元通。
Like the all-knowing eye in Tibetan Tantric Buddhism. I felt like I was being bombarded with exotic words. The conversation had completely left me
透
behind.
視能力、遠隔視、スーパービジョン、霊の知覚、未来視、過去視。
Clairvoyance, telescopic vision, ghost sense, the gift of the prophet, the power of seeing the past or future.
神がかり的な力の源であったり、あるいは厳しい修行の末に習得できる超能力だったり、諸説いろいろあるんだけど、それらに共通して言えることは、
There are a lot of explanations behind it. Some say it is a gift from the gods, others that you can acquire it from intensive training. But what they all have in common is, when the third eye opens, true wisdom is apparent and all becomes visible.
言うなれば人知を超えた存在、超人の象徴ってわけ。
They all have something to do with transcending the realm of the human, becoming superhuman somehow. Wow, I don't get it, but it sounds pretty fantastic. They're all supers, aren't they? They're collecting all of the supers together in an attempt to figure out how to open the third eye. That's a reference to something. But like in the game made referencing back to this.
お願いだから僕にも欲しいななんて言わないでよ。
Please don't say I wish I had that. Please don't. This kind of reference it's like, don't say that you wish you were like Tsugumi and could live forever. Please don't. Why? I had actually been thinking just that.
やめときなさい。そんなものそもそも得得するのは無理な話なんだから。
Forget it. It's unattainable
い
anyway.
くら欲しくても怪しげな通販で宇宙ペンダントとか買っちゃダメよ。
No matter how much you want it, I won't want you buying tacky mail order space pendants that promise wisdom or anything else. What are those? The more words I didn't know.
知らないなら知らないままでいいの。
If you don't know, you should stay that way.
ちなみにね、第三の目っていうのは人体科学的に考えると何のことはない退化した器官の一つに過ぎないんだよ。
Third eye, in terms of human anatomical science, is simply a function that we have lost with evolution. I wonder why we only had two eyes. Common knowledge had it that physically two eyes were enough for gauging the distance to a point or focusing on something. But that would be like if we really used to have... What would it be like if we really used to have three eyes? Actually, the animal ancestors of vertebrates had three eyes. Early species of primitive reptiles. Like the tuatara lizard that still has a third eye on the top of its head. The third eye. The organ has a similar function to the eyeball and lies on the top of the head. This organ would be sensitive to the light of the outside world and control internal hormone secretion and balance based on the light. An eye on the crest of one's head would stare straight up. It seems safe to say that it would sense the difference in light between day and night. A right eye, a left eye, and one above. An eye on the top of the head to stare at the sky. Only the people and higher vertebrates had lost the third eye over a long process of evolution. It had been covered over by the cerebrum, and we lost our ability to sense light directly. Therefore, we had two light-sensitive eyeballs, one on each side instead. The lost third eye was called a pineal body. This had functioned in the brain for eons and was responsible for secreting hormones that helped carve out the 24-hour rhythm. What we called our internal clocks existed because of this pineal body. You mean like the appendix or the webbing between fingers?
そういうこと。
That's exactly what I mean. Still, you've got a ton of knowledge. You're like a walking dictionary.
大したことないよこんなの。
It's no big
な
deal.
んせ何の役にも立たない無駄な知識なんだから。
The information I have is completely useless. I don't think so.
そういうものだよ。
It's true.
だって知識はいくらあったって幸せにはなれないでしょ。
I mean, no matter how much knowledge you have, it can't make you happy,
自
right?
分の無知を思い知らされるだけで学問なんて虚しいものなんだよ。
It just makes you feel so ignorant. Scholarship is a pretty empty pursuit.
なのに捨てようと思っても捨てられない。
Even so, I still can't give it
多
up.
分頭の根っこのとこにしっかりと溶接されちゃってるんだと思う。
Maybe it has completely rooted itself into my brain. But you planted it there yourself, right?
とんでもない。
No way.
犯人は母親よ。
My mom's the guilty one. Your mom?
とにかくちっちゃな頃からそれ関連の話を子守歌代わりに聞かされ続けてきたのよ。
Anyway, when I was little, instead of lullabies like Sarah, she told me all these third eye stories. Wow.
考古学なんて大嫌いだったのに。
I used to hate archaeology. You sighed as she
気
said
が
this.
ついたらいつの間にか考古学のある学部に進学してた。
One day I just woke up and found myself in the archaeology department. Like mother, like daughter.
そんな生優しいもんじゃないと思う。
It's not that simple. You gave another mystery sigh.
これはある種の呪いよ。
It's like some kind of curse. If we could get back to what we were talking about. In summary, okay. Phew! No, I've got no
ど
idea.
う？わかった？
So, did you figure it out? No, not
やっ
yet.
ぱり無理なんだよ。
Told you it's impossible.
私だっていろいろ試したんだからさ。
We tried all kinds of things. But if we just change our way of looking at things, I think we'll figure it out. Huh? By changing the way we look, we'll figure it out? Something about these words triggered something in my mind. What should I do?
いい加減諦めたら？
Why don't we just give up? I won't
意
give
外
up.
と頑固なんだね、少年って。
You're pretty stubborn for a punk kid. Be
所
quiet.
詮、私ら三次元人に二次元人のことなんか理解できっこないってば。
And somebody that can't even understand the difference between 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. Huh?
ほら、印刷された文字って二次元の存在でしょ。それに
See, the
対して
characters are-
私たちは三次元の存在。
See, the characters on the paper are 2-dimensional and we are 3-dimensional.
要するに、住む世界が違うんだよ。
Basically, the worlds that we live in are
も
different.
し、このバーコードもどきを理解しようとしたら、それこそ二次元の気持ちにならなきゃいけないわけであり。
So if you really want to understand what this barcode has to say, then you have to think 2-dimensionally.
どうったの？
So, what do you think? Stuff on the paper is 2-dimensional and we are 3-dimensional. I had to think in 2-dimensionality. What do I have to do to think 2-dimensionality? What should I do?
ほらね、言わんこっちゃない。
See, I told you so.
それを読み解こうなんて、最初から無理なんだよ。
I told you it was impossible to figure out from the start.
さてと、私は最後の賭けに出てみるとしますか。
Should I try one last time? There's still a potential password you haven't tried?
ダメ元で思いつく限りのフレーズを試してみようと思うの。
Yep, but I thought it wouldn't work, so I tried everything else I could think of. You stared at the computer monitor. Access denied, invalid name or password. Things just didn't seem to want to go our way.
こんちき証明
Arg damn.
かくなる上は、
Now things have come to this.
あーブラカタブラ
Abracadabra. Huh?
開けコマ
Open says Ami.
タンタンタヌキのマタンキ
Magic carpet.
ベントラスペースピーポ
Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, come on. Of course, none of these phrases got her access to the sea-level information. I didn't see why she had to shout all of them out either. I was already on my wits' end and incapable of speech. Just then. What? And that was the password that should have been printed on that paper correctly? A Japanese phrase around 10 syllables? It bothered me to no end, and it was totally unsatisfying, but for the time being, there was no way of doing anything more. There, I intentionally flubbed that. Had an annoyingly large amount of non-repeat dialogue. There are 6 ways?
ブー、不正解。
Wrong answer, afraid not.
3ビット鍵ではいい。
I just got this sinking feeling that maybe how you get the epilogue is not by getting the bad ending and the good ending, it's getting the good ending while getting all of you CGs. I'm such a dunce. I'll let it play as the bad ending because I started this, but I don't think that's really how. I think I'm doing something that's a waste of time. It's probably what happened is what that when the computer was searching it. Oh, never mind.
あれ、名前は王子様がいいって言ってたのはどこのどなたさんでしたっけね。
What? You said you liked the name Prince anyway. Would you have forgot about that already?
ん、ひょっとして少年は先輩のこと嫌いな。
You said that scholarship is futile, but you're the kind of person who wants more knowledge than even knowing that. That's not something a weak person could do. You look it.
はあ
What? You don't look it.
だよね。
Right?
まあ冗談はさて
Now,
お
jokes
き
aside,
私が仮に33歳だとしたら実年齢とのあ
and recently, I wondered if it was missing my missing memory that it was making me feel that way. This is a good bad one to talk about. Oh, that reminds me, I want to talk to you about your father.
その話
I
は
t-
もうやめようって言ったでしょ。
I told you I didn't want to talk about that, didn't I? Huh? Oh, yeah.
悪いんだけど、そういった話は今日はやめよう。
I'm sorry, but could we just forget about that today?
だから今日はそういうつもりでここへ誘ったんじゃないの。
That wasn't the reason that I invited you here today.
君と一緒にいるとなんだか落ち着くの。だから
There's something about being with you that relaxes me.
「さっきもそう言ったでしょ。
I told you that already. But don't you like things the way they are? You don't care if you never find out who your mom and dad were for the rest of your life?
やめて。 あの人は私のお母さんなんかじゃないの。
That person is not my mother. After saying that, you turned and started walking. Looking straight ahead, she made for the control room. I followed her. We didn't think it was a good idea to move from where we were. People on the outside might have found out what had happened and be on their way. So we decided to try to think of a way out. We looked at the map of the complex and talked about this and that possibility. But at that point, we really didn't expect to find anything new. 'Daybreak. The date had changed to Sunday, May 7th. Since that time, we hadn't slept at all. I was starting to feel badly again. A headache, dizziness, nausea, and coldness felt like they were seeping from deep in the core of my body. I suffered from a wave of dull pain and extreme fatigue. I was only half conscious. Exhaustion, I had reached my limit, but I tried to keep my energy from being sapped away. Surrounded by darkness and endless fear, we had fought our way this far, and there was no sign that things were going to get better. Communication lines with the outside were still down, and we had yet to find a clue that might lead to escape. Slowly, Yu started to get ill too. Her face was pale. Her breathing was heavy, beads of sweat stood out on her forehead. She seemed to have a terrible fever. I was not the only one suffering mentally and physically. There had been signs from the day before, but we couldn't do anything about it. The infirmary was already underwater. We could only endure the passing of time. This is it. This is the end. It's giving up the only choice. Looked up helplessly. The ceiling was crusty with cigarette smoke. I couldn't see anything else. Am I going to die? There's nothing I can do, just die. That was my conclusion. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. I knew when exactly how much strength I had left. I felt utterly hopeless. Useless, incompetent. Yes, I would die. And I was fine with that. I didn't care. Without a memory, I thought I had been the equivalent of dead to start with. Nothing changes, I had nothing to lose. It was already decided. I remembered that Tsugumi had told me that. I would die in 7 days. Her prediction was true. I don't care, this is the way it should be. I relaxed and looked down, and I saw you. She slumped back into a chair and her breathing looked labored.
約束
Promise. Yeah, I promise. Suddenly I felt the warmth I'd felt from Yu's fingers when I made my promise again in my fingertips. You, if I didn't do anything, you would die too. No, I wouldn't let that happen. I don't care if I die, but you is... Somehow I had to save her, because I had promised. Promised. How could I? How? Then... There was only a short time until the estimated time of implosion. The security office started shaking violently. The complex screeched. Alarms pierced through the air with shrill warnings.
隔壁強度が限界を超えました。
Partition strength limits had been exceeded.
各フロアにて漏水、浸水が始まっています。
Flooding has started on each floor.
ツバイトシュトック第4区画浸水開始。同じく第5区画圧壊開始。第6区画
Flooding has begun on Sector 4's Vitae stock. Implosion has begun in Sector 5 on the same floor. In Sector 6, Sarah repeated the situation in a monotone. What's wrong? What else?
いいえ、もうやめましょう。こんなこと告げても無意味ですね。
No, I leave it at that. This report now means nothing.
この区画も浸水が始まりました。ここもしばらくすれば被害が現れます。
Flooding has started in this sector too. It won't be long until damage will appear here. I see. How long do you think this will hold?
20分から25分。
20 to 25 minutes.
ですが、今すぐに圧壊してもおかしくない状況です。
It could implode at any time. The normal lighting went out and the emergency lighting kicked in. I figured the generator room was probably damaged.
結局、お二人をお救いすることができませんでした。
I couldn't save you two after all.
本当に申し訳ございません。
I am really, truly sorry.
本当に。
Truly. Don't be, it's not your fault. I think you did a great job. I headed over to beside you. You, this place isn't going to hold. Let's go. You was completely weakened. She looked powerlessly and nodded slightly. I carried you on my back.
どこへ向かわれるのですか？
Where are you going? I don't know. Somewhere where we can gain a little more time. I intend to stake our lives on the possibility that we'd be rescued until the very end. I can't think of anything to do other than that. I promised her that I would protect her no matter what. Where's the safest place left among the floors?
ドリットシュトックの制御室なら、あるいは。
That would be the control room at Dorette stock or...
しかし、それでももって数十分の差です。
But it's only a matter of a few dozen minutes difference. That's enough. I was going to leave the room, but I suddenly stopped. What are you going to do, Sora?
私はもう、お二人とご一緒することができません。
I will not be able to accompany you two anymore.
浸水の影響で、館内に設置された映像デバイスにかなりの損傷が出てしまいました。
Due to flooding, image broadcasting devices in the complex have been significantly damaged.
私が姿を現せる場所は限られてしまっています。
The places I can appear are limited.
ですがせめて音声を通してお二人を制御室までご案内したいと思います。
But at the very end, I want to guide you two to the control room via my audio function. All right, please do.
はい。
Yes. When I left the room, I found water leaking from walls and spots. The bulkhead
では
squealed.
ご案内します。制御室まで今現在で無事なルートは
I will guide you. I will show you the route to the control room, which is still safe. We went down to the third floor. Lemieux was still holding. The estimated time of implosion that Sora had predicted should have passed long before. Lemieux kept resisting to the end, as if Sora was willing to protect us. You gasped, suffering terribly as I carried her on my back. Be strong, be patient, it's just a little further. I lied. I was a liar. A little more patience, and then what? There was nothing I could do, so I lied. I was a big liar. We were close to the control room, and again I saw it. The vision of the little girl.
どうしたの？
What's the matter? She stood across the corridor. Her eyes met mine, and then a name flashed to my mind, as clear as a bell. Coco!
少年さん、どうなされたのですか？
Kid, what's the matter? Turning on her heels, Coco ran off in the other direction. I chased after her, still carrying you. Coco!
少年さん、引き返してください。そっちは。
Kid, please come back. There is... I was chasing after her at full speed, but the flooding and shaking ground slowed me down. From the beginning, it was a crazy, reckless idea to run after her with you on my back. I lost sight of her. It was a dead end in a narrow corridor in front of a small door. Where is this? I thought that maybe she was beyond the door. In that instant, I glimpsed something in my head. It was a vague, abstract image. I wasn't sure, but definitely, I felt it, I could see it. That there should be a beam of hope ahead. I lowered you and tried to open the door of Himmel, but the door wouldn't budge. Sora, open the
無
door.
理です。その扉は私の管轄外なのです。
It is impossible. The door is out of my jurisdiction. I pounded on the door. I know it. On the other side of this door. You will be safe in there. Please open this door. Splash. Water spouted fiercely from the corridor wall. An animal-like growl echoed from far away. The complex pitched violently. I saw a massive amount of water flooding down the corridor ahead, as if a pitch-black monster were approaching its massive mouth to attack. Opening its massive mouth to attack. I ran frantically to you. I felt as if I was moving in slow motion. I won't make it. For an instant, time stopped and then it started again. The water swallowed us in a moment. In the water, my eyes met Yu's. She was trying desperately to reach her hand out. I held her hand, you squeezed mine back. You mumbled something, but the words didn't reach me. The words were changed into small bubbles and vanished into the darkness. You slowly closed her eyes. You? What did you say? Of course I want to know. I shook her hand. There was no response. That's not fair. She was teasing me again. I touched her cheek. It was cold. Cold. Of course, it's because we're in the water. Haha, it's because we're in this cold water. I squeezed her hand. Hey. I said hey. Hey, you, tell me. She didn't squeeze my hand back. She didn't move. She didn't tell me anything anymore. It's not true. No, it's a lie. It can't be true. It has to be a lie. This is a lie. I let go the last breath from my lungs. I close my eyes and avert them from reality.
約束？
Promise? Yeah, I
も
promise.
し約束破ったら
And what if you break it? I won't. I'll see that you're
絶
safe.
対に 1% たりともないの？
Sure? There's not even a 1% chance you're wrong? Well, you're referencing me. There's not even a 0.1 to the minus 1 times 10 to the minus 17% possibility?
こんな自信過剰な約束聞いたこともないけど
Talk about promising more than what you can deliver.
仕方ない付き合ってあげるとしますか
Oh well, I suppose I'll have to trust you. I didn't make it. I couldn't keep my promise. I couldn't protect her. I was a liar. A damn liar. Just at that moment, I felt a soft, warm light. A light? A ray of light sliced through the plain, dark world. The door of Himmel started to open. Beyond the door spread a dazzling white world. Heaven. Heaven. Was it an illusion? No, it wasn't. This was reality. This was undoubtedly the truth of my world. I knew that. If we went to the place, on the other side of the door, we would meet again. This time, I might be able to protect her. You. I quietly opened my eyes. And so we drowned and went to heaven again. Yes, Sava got a bad ending. Okay. There we go. You version bad end. I purposely gave myself a bad end, like, why would I do that to myself? Although I think it probably may have been pointless anyway, because I think the epilogue is not triggered by getting the bad end and the good end, it's triggered probably by getting all the CGs. In other words, I had to do what I did the first time, my very, very first playthrough, except when playing Kick the Can, go with you, so we get that CG with you. I think that's like the only difference. So I'm out of time, but next recording I'm going to go, and it's going to be a very boring recording, because I'm going pretty much going to do one thing, and that is I'm going to fast forward through you route, skip all, just this big long skip. It's going to be like a walkthrough where I select I select the choices, which I should be able to remember what they are, to give me all of U's CGs throughout U's route, and then it should trigger a U epilogue. And if I need the bad end first, if that truly was what I needed, well, I got that too. So either way, it should work. I should be able to get this number 6 done. Now, 3 and 11 then would be the last ones left, and I presume that's the ending that just got unlocked. Final chapter, Finding Coco. I don't know, this is short, but that's probably what this is. And I probably have to play as Takeshi to get it. Sweet. No new of these, right? Yeah, we just need to get all of these and do the right choices to get Yu's good ending while playing as the kid. I think these come automatically. This is the one you have to work to get. And this, well, you have to make the right decision for this and for this. Okay. Sweet. That's it.